Oh, I got it.
Welcome back to beautiful Woodbine Mohawk Park in Campbellville, Ontario. Weekend number 2 of the baby races. It is the Rookie Showcase here on Primetime TV. And beautiful weather conditions this morning. Hot and humid. The temperature 23, but feels warmer than that with the humidity in the air. But nonetheless, a very nice morning for racing. Wind, a non-factor, and they'll be playing on a fast racing surface today. A busy morning session where 2-year-old fillies will take center stage with 12 races for both trotters and pacers. And we welcome you trackside, just outside our paddock location. Greg Blanchard joined by John Rallis this morning, the well-traveled John Rallis, fresh back from a trip to the Elite Lop. We're going to ask you quickly how that was before we get started.
Yeah, just an incredible experience, though, Greg. I'm not sure if you've ever gotten the chance to.
I have not.
There, but I recommend you do. I recommend everybody does. I tell you what, it's such a great culture. The community is exceptional, and they really love their racing there. And it's kind of an eye-opener, though. I mean, we love racing here in North America, but they just do so many things right, and I wish we could implement some of the things that they do over there that we could do here, especially from a broadcast standpoint. I mean, they've just got, an abundance of resources. A lot of the participants are cooperative, and, we get a lot of that here as well, but it's just an incredible sight. The racing is second to none, but the community is just as good. So I recommend everybody go, and I'm looking forward to going again.
And we'll hear a little bit more about that, I'm sure, throughout this morning. John's adventure overseas to the Elite Lop. Of course, you've seen him a lot recently at the Meadowlands as they get into the kind of the heart of their stake season as well. And of course, we are right in the midst of it here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. It is Pepsi North America Cup weekend coming up, of course, but we've got some baby race coverage over the next 2 days to get to. Want to take you back and showed you a little bit of a recap of what happened 1 week ago. We kicked things off with a single session. It was a mix of Colts and fillies last weekend, 9 races in total. And trainer Blake McIntosh, really the star of the show, sent out 5 winners in the 9 races. Carl Jamieson had 3, so they kind of dominated week 1. And fastest trotter of that morning was Treasure King, an offspring of King of the North, 2 minutes and a fifth. And then Free Agent on the pace side, 56 and 1. Kind of an eye-catching effort for that early for a rookie. And again, part of a big day for trainer Blake McIntosh last week. And this is the dreaming time of year, John. And we go back a year ago, and it was right here on the Rookie Showcase where we introduced racing fans to a future superstar.
Yeah, 1 year ago from the day of where he's going to get a chance to compete at the North America Cup. And, pretty exceptional to think where he was a year ago and where he's going to be in a couple of nights as he's looking to etch his name into the history book. So I don't think anybody thought that they were going to be getting this kind of colt. I don't think Doc thought he was getting this kind of colt. I don't think drivers Louis Waugh and Bob McClure got a chance to sit behind him early on in his career. Figured that he would be this kind of colt, but he's just been quite a pleasure to watch. The joys have been great, and hopefully, the chapters can continue to be written on Saturday night.
That was the only time he had faced defeat until this past weekend in the Pepsi North America Cup eliminations. A quick assessment of his performance. Did things go the way you thought they would? Were you surprised, and what are you expecting this weekend?
Yeah, I don't think things went the way that many people expected, right? I mean, you could see that, Bob got him away off the car, nice and easy like he normally does, and he tried to make an aggressive bid to the front like he's done in several occasions, but unfortunately he just got stuck in that elimination, and they went 26 and change in that third quarter. You have to figure that he's going to likely be aggressively handled for $1 million, especially with such a good post, that he's drawn, post number 5, so... you have to figure he's obviously going to be aggressive, but the trip just didn't work out. Good horses get beat, but the trip didn't work out, but I'm expecting a big-time bounce back from him Saturday night.
Yeah, so, it would have been exciting to see him go into the final undefeated, of course, but now, that he's been knocked off, it's going to make it seem a little bit more wide open going into that final. So it's a different storyline, but nonetheless intriguing.
Yeah, without a doubt. I know everybody was hoping to kind of, continue that perfect streak, but there was a couple of other limb winners who were really, really impressive, one of which being Odds On Mr. Mamba, who everybody was so excited to get a chance to see compete against the likes of Bojangles. He was sensational. He's a really, really fast colt, and I'm excited to see these guys hook up yet again. It's going to be a very, very exciting race.
Let's turn our attention to today's races. Fillies in the spotlight here this morning, 12 races in total. And Pacers to kick things off. We've got a field of 7 scheduled to go postward here. Speaking of Doc Moore, we'll see him out with his first group of 2-year-olds this morning. Doesn't have anything here in the first. Son Tyler, though, does. LD and Me, the number 3 in the field, is one that he trains and drives. And this one, a daughter of Century Pharaoh from the If I Can Dream mare, Yes You Can. The first 2 foals have earned $77,000 and $100,000 respectively. So this daughter of Century Pharaoh looking to make it 3 for 3 for the mare, for the dam, in getting horses to the races. Nice looking group here overall. We've got a sibling to Sterling Choice, a horse that we know well on the circuit.
Yeah, Sterling Choice, one that had a successful go here at the gold level, obviously now racing in the U.S. as an aged horse, but again, a lot of talent with him. He was such a handy racehorse. He was always put in pretty good spots, and hopefully this is a sibling that can continue to do the same as he progresses. There's
a chestnut daughter of Cattle Wash, Lindy Vilvino. Trevor Henry on board this one. Bred or owned by Glenview Livestock Limited, homebred for that operation. Certainly a striking looking individual. Is going to be easy to pick out here with Trevor Henry in the driver's seat. This one trained by Kim Baxter. The number 2 Hot Wash, Anthony Beaton. We're going to get a first look at his group here this morning. A $40,000 London Classic yearling purchase. This is a full sister to Borderline Mobby.
Yeah, one we're going to get a chance to see on Saturday night, and of course one of the Colts competing in our gold division. Unfortunately, the same for so many other Colts, as they have to hook up with Bojangles every time that they race in the provincial program. But Borderline Mobby, a really nice Colt, put forth a pretty nice effort earlier on this year, and hopefully this sister can do some good things as well.
There's a look at Silver Moon. It's listed as a gray, not the light gray by the look of it there. We'll maybe get a different camera angle and see the coloring. We're expecting to maybe see resemblance to Sterling Choice that we know well on the circuit. And I think when they get older, they get a little bit lighter in the color, if I'm not mistaken. Here's one that was supposed to go a week ago, was scratched, but here this morning, request denied. A Better Than Cheddar homebred for the Hensleys out of their really good hard-hitting race mare request for parole.
She really was a hard-hitting race mare, Greg, and this is one that I'm sure they're very excited about here, and plenty of reason to be excited about. She was really fast. She always put forth good efforts, and hopefully this offspring can do the same.
That Crazy Ginger, number 6 in the field, another chestnut, daughter of Cattle Wash. And post 6 for this one, Louis-Philippe Bois in the driver's seat. The first full from Come Get the Cash. And this one, I think, looks like it's got pedigree if you look a little bit deeper down the road. And then queued up, another Cattle Wash filly's going to complete the field here. This one, trained by Kyle Fellows, Doug McNair driving, $22,000 Lexington yearling purchase. So, John, from your perspective as a track handicapper, what are you looking for on a day like this? What are you trying to discern from these youngsters that you can take into their first race when they go postward?
Yeah, they're not always going to be uber professional right from the word go, though, Greg. I mean, this is their first time. Some of them their first time getting a chance to go some pretty good miles with other company. But I'm just looking for them to finish up strongly, right? I think that's what you hear a lot of horse people say: finish up strongly, just finish up with some good pace, and especially after the wire. That's something I like to focus on to see how they're moving. Nobody gets paid in these mornings. I think you just want pretty good experiences, and you want horses coming back razor sharp. You never want to see a horse be tired in a qualifier. You always want to see them right on the bit, finishing strong. And you see a lot of drivers here being able to guide young horses at a high level, and that's how they keep them sharp all season long. And
you want to see good behavior too. You're looking kind of for the body language, pre-race obviously, and then how they handle in the race. I like what I see from a couple there on screen, especially the 5 request denied. Looks calm and composed, just kind of looks like an old racehorse getting ready to go behind the gate.
Yeah, she really does. And like I said, I'm sure that they're very excited about this filly going postward. But you mentioned that Crazy Ginger who we see on screen, though, Greg. I mean, this is one of 3 yearlings that Pollock Racing purchased. And has Dave Maneri training, sister to Wool Black Betty, who was second in that New Jersey Sire Stakes Silver Division. So we've seen her race here locally. She's got quite a bit of talent as well, and maybe a sibling can follow suit.
So we've got a full field of 7. Looks like they are all out on track and set to go postward here. Qualifier number 1, the first of 12 on this Thursday morning, in time to send it upstairs to the gentleman who will call the action today. Once again, here's Mark McKelvey.
Thank you very much, Greg, and a good morning to everybody as we are set with the first of 12 here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. The guys were mentioning it. It is a steamy morning. I guess we're not going to complain. It was a long winter. So on this hot June 11th, 2026, here's your field for the first. 1, Lady Bovino, daughter of Cattle Wash, Trevor Henry for Kim Baxter, a homebred for Glenview Livestock. 2 is Hot Wash, daughter of Cattle Wash, James McDonald for Anthony Beaton. Daughter of Cattle Wash was a $40,000 London Classic purchase. Next up, LD and Me, a Century Pharaoh filly. Tyler Moore trains. He'll also do the driving. Then we go to number 4, Silver Moon, daughter of Shadow Play. Jonathan Drury for Amanda Riley. Daughter of Shadow Play came out of Harrisburg for $40,000 US. 5 is Request Denied, a homebred for the Hensleys. Ed drives, Ashley trains. Better Than Cheddar filly. 6, That Crazy Ginger is a daughter of Cattle Wash. Louis Waugh for trainer Dave Maneri. And this was a Harrisburg purchase for $42,000 US. And on the outside is a 7, Queued Up, another daughter of Cattle Wash For trainer Kyle Fellows, Doug McNair in the bike, a Lexington Select Buy for $22,000 US. A field of 7, first qualifier today. Here we go. And they're off and pacing. It's going to be that Crazy Ginger who is sweeping out to the early lead. From the outside, Queued Up is also going forward. Into the early mix is Silver Moon, who strides into third. It'll be Lady Bovino to get away in fourth, as Hot Wash was able to line up behind fifth. That one will be tracked by LD and Me. And then from mid-pack at the start, and now seeing them all, Request Denied is your early trailer 7th, but only about 10 lengths from the top. Single file order up to the opening panel. It is going to be that Crazy Ginger there in 31 and 3. That Crazy Ginger, a bit of a soft opening quarter, as all 7 making their qualifying debut. So a learning experience. They're into the backstretch, and they start to pick it up a little bit now. That Crazy Ginger up top by 2. Queued Up's in second. Third is Silver Moon. Then we have got a little bit of a gap back to Lady Bovino in fourth, who's followed up the backstretch by Hot Wash fifth. Sixth is LD and Me, and 7th in line is Request Denied. A 2-length advantage at the top for that Crazy Ginger. 1:02 was the half-mile time. That was 30 and 2 in the second quarter, so a whole second quicker than that opening split. And she's looking good up front here. That Crazy Ginger by 2.5 lengths. Queued Up follows in second. Couple lengths back to Silver Moon in third. Hot Wash is also into gear there from fourth. On the outside, LD and Me is up a spot, dropping back Lady Bovino. So Request Denied will advance into sixth. Coming to 3/4 now. That Crazy Ginger there in 1:32 flat. 30 seconds in the third panel. Into the stretch for that Crazy Ginger and Louis Wah. In second, since the word go, has been Queued Up. Trying to roar up on the outside is LD and Me. Battling on is Silver Moon. Hot Wash looks to split between some rivals, and Request Denied feeds to the far outside, but it is that Crazy Ginger still with the lead. Almost to the wheel is Queued Up. That Crazy Ginger will take our opening qualifier. Queued Up finishes second. Third will go to Hot Wash, and on the outside, Request Denied was fourth. 1:59 and 4, a final quarter in 27 and 4 for that Crazy Ginger.
Catching performances here to get us started off this morning. It was Cattle Wash fillies finishing 1, 2, 3 here in the opening contest. That Crazy Ginger, the chestnut filly, all the way on the front end, and got it done with a snappy 57 and 4 back half, and needed that to hold off Queued Up. Queued Up was very enthusiastic in the stretch too, but could not get by the wheel of that Crazy Ginger. Second full from the mare. The first one, as you mentioned, John, career winner of almost $800,000. So has a license to be a good one. And one of the first we're going to look at, first rookies from the Maneri camp. Looks like he's off on a good note again this season in terms of the potential stakes performers.
Yeah, anytime you see young horses or 2-year-olds getting set to get ready for Dave Maneri, you always got to keep a good eye out there. And this is a filly that put forth a pretty good showing, well in hand. The driver, Louis Philippe Wah, paced home strongly. And this one I'm excited to get a chance to see when she comes to the races.
Yep, she did it impressively. Obviously comfortable, able to easily rate on the front end, and then when asked for that speed, had plenty to offer in the stretch. That was an eye-catching final quarter for sure. Assessing the rest of the field, Hot Wash kind of came through between horses late, was clearly a best of the rest third, and looked good too.
Yeah, without a doubt, you could see James, he had a choice to go out, but James is going to try and keep them as brave as possible when he's qualifying horses, especially young ones. When she found a seam, she had some pace, but I also thought Request Denied showed a little bit of pace there at the end of it to grab fourth. So, obviously that Cattle Wash filly by Kyle Fellows as well, Queued Up, finishing second. Another daughter of Cattle Wash, similar price purchase to a clean deal. I'm not saying they're going to have, similar careers in terms of ability or whatnot, but clearly they're going to take their chances, and why not?
Yeah, $42,000 yearling purchase, and looks like money well spent here at this point in time. And this one, a feather in the cap of the breeders, Princeton Farms, Glenn Bechtel. They would have liked what they saw this morning from this young lass as well. And we like to get a look at them coming off track too, and see how they are post-race, and that can tell you something too.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, you want to see how their mannerisms are. It's always would love to find out some of the conversations with some of these, drivers as they come off the track. Communicating with the trainers about these experiences. But this is an exciting time of year, as you can see. So many smiles, the fact that they make it here to the baby races, and plenty of reason to smile for Dave Maneri after watching his filly debut here.
And key moment there, your trainer, your driver, and that instant feedback when they get off the track. That'll be critical too in how they go forward as well. So we have one in the books. Great start to the morning. 11 more to go when we return our first look at trotters here on the Rookie Showcase.
A showcase of the finest 3-year-old trotters in the nation, the Hambletonian Stakes was first contested at the Syracuse Fairgrounds in 1926.
Away from the rest of the field, it is Guy McKinney to win the first Hambletonian.
Named after Risdick's Hambletonian, the father of the American trotter. In 1981, set against the backdrop of New York City, the Meadowlands Racetrack at East Rutherford, New Jersey became the latest and longest running host venue. The urban stage for the most memorable moments.
And he's pouring it on! Mac Lovell has won! Here's the finish! Too close to call!
Operation Hambletonian complete! It's Muscle Hill, 150-1, equaling the world record!
10 horses, $1 million, and a dream to be the best.
We are back at Woodbine Mohawk Park, getting set for the second qualifier on this Thursday morning, and we are moving over to trotters this time around. We've got a full field of 8 slated to go postward, and we're going to see, let's see, one that was out a week ago. So it looks like just one return starter, and then 7 making their debuts today. Udon, the number 3, was the one that did see action last week, was put on the front early, faltered a little bit late, but got that experience under the belt. That's a daughter of Captain Corey, and we'll get a look at them here on Post Parade momentarily. An important time, John, for the drivers, right? They're out here, they're trying to teach these horses, they're trying to learn something themselves from them, and they're also trying to identify, especially the guys that are in demand, which are the horses that I should be sort of pinning my hopes to here early on and semi-committing to at least, and trying to look forward in the coming weeks and the stakes trail starts.
Yeah, that's the toughest part, right? Especially when you're, some of these guys who get listed on a multitude of horses, every time the overnight sheets or the entry sheets come out for these qualifiers. And look, it's been talked about that James McDonald, he booked off a Sylvia Hanover. I mean, he did qualify her. She wasn't overly impressive in maybe that prep. He booked off. For another trainee, and look at the career that Sylvia had. I mean, even, James, you had a choice between Peeler and It's a Love Thing. Peeler was highly touted, one that he was really excited to drive, and he opted to go to It's a Love Thing. So clearly, some decisions that maybe some of them regret, but some decisions that obviously benefit them in the long run. It's a bit of a crapshoot on who's going to end up being better than the other, but, it's a good problem to have lots of choices, but it can be a little bit of a headache at times.
Yep, you're right. And there's so many of those famous stories of guys either, picking off a future champion or guys kind of having a future champion just fall into their laps by circumstances. Kind of similar last year when you look at Bojangles. Yep. It wasn't, exactly a situation of that, but, just circumstances unfolded the way they did, and it changed the complexion of his season.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, Louis having to commit to a Nijinsky in the graduate in the U.S. to race at the Meadowlands, as well as a couple of determination trainees, and Bob picked him up in start number 1, and Bob's been able to just continue the good ride. So there's so many stories like that, though, as well, right? Some of these guys benefit, some of these guys don't, but again, exciting times.
Here's a look at one sent out by conditioner Mark Etzel. $25,000 purchase last fall. A muscle mass filly. We talk about it a lot on here, how muscle mass kind of stamps his horses, and they have that look and that kind of durable look to them, if you want to call it that. Mark Etzel, let's talk about him. What a great horseman. What a great career.
Yeah, and he's had success, obviously, training, a progeny of muscle mass, and just, such an underrated trainer. Does a great job breaking young horses, and this is one who trained Hambo runner-up in Highland Kismet, and he was a bit of a tricky horse. Obviously, never raced that too. He had lots of problems. People didn't know if he was going to be able to just stay trotting, and next thing you know, he gets him to the highest level, in your 3-year-old campaign, and finishing runner-up to Carl that year. So, Mark Etzel doesn't get, enough pub maybe as he should, but this is a guy who's very, very underrated in that regard.
Yeah, I would say that was a master class, what he did with Highland Kismet and where he eventually took him to. Reminiscent a bit of, Rod Hughes and going back to Sandpail, right? When he inherited the horse, it was kind of a project horse, and then, the rest is history. So, but Mark hoping a different approach this time. He's hoping this filly's an instant hit. He's had some of those too, right, that he's developed that, were stakes champions right off the bat.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, you have horses that kind of, obviously develop and become really good horses. And sometimes it's interesting to hear sometimes their approach too, because they fall in love with some of their stable stars. Do they go out and chase some of their siblings at times? I know that's not the case. Here with Houston, we have a problem, but it's always interesting to see the approach that different guys have. But the one thing we know for sure, Mark Etzel's going to do the best job that he can.
All right, he's got one of 2 muscle mass fillies in this group as we send it up once again to Mark McKelvey.
Qualifier number 2 as the gates now in motion and the youngsters get some time up on the wings. Number 1, Izzy's Legacy, is a daughter of Back of the Neck. Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair drives, a homebred for Ian Fleming. 2 is Cooler Fashion, a green shoe filly. Blake McIntosh trains, Mark McDonald will do the driving, and this was a Harrisburg grad for $45,000 US. 3, You Done, a Captain Corey filly, Gino Toscani trains and drives. This one, a yearling buy from Lexington for $31,000 US. Next up, number 4, Houston, We Have a Problem, a muscle mass filly, Mark Etzel. He trains, he'll also do the driving. Got this one out of the London Classic for $25,000. 5, Miss Shazam, a My MVP filly, James McDonald for Dominic Ladeau, $18,000 buy from the London Classic. Next is 6, Showstopper Peggy, Alarm Detector filly, Ben Bayarjan trains, Tyler Borth will do the driving, a homebred for the group of Bayarjan, Venna, and Ingham. 7 is Bluegrass Babe, make the driver Todd Ratchford for Shane Arsenault. Father Patrick filly was a yearling purchase in Lexington for $22,000 US. And then a muscle mass filly is number 8, Soma, Trevor Henry for Clark Bealby, a $52,000 London Classic buy. They're off and trotting here in qualifier number 2. Making a break at the start. At the inside is Izzy's Legacy. First one out to the lead is going to be You Done, the only one with a qualifier under her belt. She goes out to the top. In second, Houston, We Have a Problem. Coming up on the outside is Soma into third. Bluegrass Babe will get away in fourth in front of Miss Shazam fifth. Then to Cooler Fashion. Going to settle in behind that one is Showstopper Peggy, and Izzy's Legacy is back on stride and will look to catch up. Opening quarter pops up on the board in 31-3, and that was courtesy of You Done for Gino Toscani. Once again, this one's on the front and leads it by 3 lengths as we move to the backstretch. Second is Houston, We Have a Problem. 2 more lengths then going back to Soma in third. Another bit of a gap then to Bluegrass Babe in fourth, followed closely by Miss Shazam in fifth. 3 more lengths back to Cooler Fashion. Another few lengths then going back to Showstopper Peggy, and Izzy's Legacy is off stride again at the back. So You Done on a loose lead here of 3 or 4 lengths off a 31-3 opener. The half is up in 102-3. 31 seconds in the second quarter. It is the Captain Corey filly, You Done, who leads it. Houston, We Have a Problem, continuing to trot along in second. Couple more lengths back to Soma in third. Still there fourth is Bluegrass Babe. Waiting is Miss Shazam to get the cue to go. Then Cooler Fashion, Showstopper Peggy. And last continues to be Izzy's Legacy. You Done got away on that nearest rival, Houston, We Have a Problem, and leads it by 6-7 lengths at 3 quarters in 131-4. So that was a 29-1 third panel into the stretch. And You Done is going to try and finish this one off strong. Up on the outside now is Soma, who moves into second. Houston, We Have a Problem is relegated back to third. Clear racetrack now for Miss Shazam, who will look to turn in a good final quarter. And Bluegrass Babe is fifth. You Done tires on the lead. And here comes the muscle mass filly, Soma. And that one will pass up the inside. It'll be Soma and Henry to take it. You Done finishes second. Houston, We Have a Problem third. And Miss Shazam was fourth in 2:02-3.
Well, it looked like UDunn was going to take it all the way this week, but tired just a little bit late on the end of it. And a very professional effort, I would say, for Soma, first time out. This is a muscle mass filly, first full from an international money mare named Melt My Chocolate. Clark Bealby training and Trevor Henry doing the driving. Rallied to win and did the left-hand turn up the inside rather than going outside around the tiring leader.
Yeah, and did it so effortlessly, right? Didn't have to exert any energy for driver Trevor Henry. Was able to just be pretty well in hand. You could see still a pretty good hold as he gets her to settle. This is a really nice effort by Soma. We've seen so many horses from Coyote Wind Farms that qualify so well in the morning. A lot of horses with a lot of ability, pedigree, and a lot of talent, and hopefully this filly can be just that.
Get another look at the lead stages here, and I just like the fact that he could pass on the inside and did it well in hand. The ears moving back and forth, could have gone around again, as they say. And the other muscle mass filly, Houston, we have a problem. Rallied well on the inside, and you see on the run out shot had loads of trot going into the first turn again. Yeah,
without a doubt. Again, I know sometimes it's kind of tough to decipher who people might think was good or not, but UDunn was obviously one that was aggressively handled yet again, was on the point, but nobody else was really in a hurry. Again, it's their first time qualifying. Nobody needs to be in a hurry. This isn't this isn't a race going for money. This is just about getting good experiences, and I think we saw that with a handful of them today.
Yeah, win times today for the most part, they're not going to turn heads that much, but again, just looking at what they do, especially in the final quarter of the race. Are they passing horses? Are they doing it in hand? And I like the versatility that this filly showed as well. A little bit of adversity. It wasn't just kind of a go around and sit where you are. Did a bit of stick handling, if you want to call it that, in the home stretch, and that was nice to see. There's a look at Miss Shazam and my MVP, James McDonald, on board. It's got a bit of a soft spot, I think, for my MVP, of course.
Yeah, how could he not? Obviously, Hasty Bit just doing what he has been doing for James McDonald and Paige McDonald. Obviously, a horse that quietly just has made and bankrolled all that money that he's been able to do, and just a really honest racehorse that puts forth a pretty good effort. So, it's going to be tough to maybe top that one in recent time, but Hasty Bit are definitely a good one.
Trevor Henry guiding Soma back to the race paddock. Connections, I'm sure, more than happy with that effort here this morning. She is a winner in our first trotting event of the day, 2:02 and 3. Nice looking group of filly pacers coming up next when we return on the Rookie Showcase.
Join us this August on Prince Edward Island for the Gold Cup and Saucer, presented by Atlantic Lottery. Visit redshores.ca for more details.
The annual Lexington Selected Yearling Sale is the centerpiece of the Lexington experience. Located at the beautiful Face Exhibit and Sales Complex, our annual sale continues to produce multiple world champions and divisional winners year after year, including multiple recent Hambletonian Oaks, and Breeders' Crown winners. The sale coincides with Grand Circuit Racing at the Red Mile, all on the world stage. Make your plans to join us this fall and create your own Lexington experience. Monday, October 5th through Friday, October.
We want to thank our valued sponsors for making this coverage possible this morning as we welcome you back to the Rookie Showcase. You see them all listed there at the bottom of the screen. Harness Racing Update, Arsenault Horse Transport, the London Classic Yearling Sales, Sealster Farms, Winback Farm, Hanover Shoe Farms, Twinbrook Farms, Terra Hill Stud, Preferred Equine Online, and the Hambletonian Society. Thank you so much. And they make it all possible for us to be with you here this morning. Greg Blanchard, John Rallis at the desk, Mark McKelvey calling the action. We're getting set for another group of pacers here on a beautiful morning. Just ahead of Pepsi North America Cup weekend, John, of course, the big race, the $1 million Pepsi North America Cup, an incredible undercard as well.
Yeah, really, really a good undercard. I mean, I got a chance to handicap, the races briefly the other night. Some of the races look rather formful in some of those stakes events, at least in my opinion, in a couple of them. But I tell you what, that to me is the best part of North America Cup night, though, Greg. It's the tone that gets set from race number one. We saw it on a limbs night when we saw Waffle Blue Chip go 148 flat, a lifetime mark. A lot of action, a lot of movement, and a lot of speed. I think we're going to see similar in race number one. Waffle Blue Chip also going to be in the opener along with the horses like Christopher Dance and some others. So that really, to me, sets the tone when everybody just gets amped up. We see some talented and fast horses, and then we kind of see that go on throughout the card.
Just an incredible program, top to bottom, something for everybody. Must-see TV, of course, here this Saturday night. Pepsi North America Cup Night 2026. A field of 7 fillies getting set to go postward here. Just a moment ago, we saw the 6 Meridius on track. This one, a Captain Treacherous filly and a sibling to Axial, a sub-150 winner on the circuit, and one that starting to turn more and more heads.
Without a doubt, and just picked off Figment in his most recent victory. Was chasing some quick panels in order to do it. This was a horse that, Rob and Yolanda Fellows always said that it was very, very fast. Obviously a soft spot for them without a doubt, but a horse that we haven't seen race an abundance of, have an abundance of starts, but this is one that, again, just continues to get sharper, and he's really fast. And if this sister can take any of, her brother's trait, we're in for something intriguing.
Des Tacour stopped by the desk just a moment ago and not surprisingly told us this one of the better fillies, certainly of the group for Team Fellows training down this year.
Yeah, and you know what? To Dez's word is gold, though, because he was really, really high on a clean deal. He said that she had the makings of being a special filly. I know that Rob Fellows cited her as just average. She ended up being a lot more, but Des Tacour, right from the go, said that she was going to be a top filly in that stable, and he proved to be right. So when is Des ever wrong anyways?
No comment. Is he standing behind me? No, he's not.
Luckily.
Good. Okay. Nice homebred in here. Number 1, Queen Pharaoh, Century Pharaoh filly from Russian Kisses. This one was bred by Rob Shepard, Isabel Darvaux, who own the filly, and they campaigned the mare Russian Kisses. A real nice, hard-hitting type for them, made almost $200,000. And I like what I've seen from Century Pharaoh. I can tell you that in just a kind of a limited group last year at age 2. Made their presence felt.
Yeah, and how about the filly making her presence felt? Lavender Sealster was a really good second in her Fan Hanover elimination, and she drew well in the final. And again, a filly that was kind of under the radar. Maybe she wasn't pegged as the best filly in Doc's group last year, but she's certainly working her way as being as such. So I completely agree with you, Greg. Century Pharaoh. Curious to see what the future progeny can do.
My bet's on Bob, number 5 in the field. We see that one on screen now. A daughter of All Bets Off. Jeff Williams trains, and this one was bred by the late Bob McIntosh and CSX Stables and Al McIntosh, and sibling to a couple of good ones that we know well here, Do Better and Better Option.
Yeah, the one that we're definitely excited to see. I bet getting the job done last time out, so pretty high hopes for this filly.
All right, here's Mark with the description.
Thanks, Greg. As the fillies are lining up, back on the pace as mentioned. 1, Queen Pharaoh. It's going to be Mark McDonald for Tony Beaton. Century Pharaoh filly. 2 is Big Chanel, Big Jim filly. Gino Toscani trains and drives. He's also the breeder. 3 is Sophie Secret. This is a daughter of Better's Delight. It'll be James McDonald for Dave Maneri. Sophie Secret came out of the Lexington Select sale for $50,000 US. 4 is Jackie's Delight, a Better's Delight filly. Blake McIntosh trains. Tyler Borth gets the driving assignment. This was a Lexington grad, $12,000 US. 5, My Bet's on Bob, a daughter of All Bets Off. Jeff Williams trains. Jody Jameson in the sulky. This one went through the Lexington Select sale for $40,000 US. And we'll note that the driver on the 5 will be Louis Waugh. He'll do the driving. 6, Mauritius is a Captain Treacherous filly. Kyle Fellows trains. Doug McNair in the bike. A homebred for Fellows and Corbeil. And 7 is Twin Bee Mythical, a Fear the Dragon filly. Francis Dumichel trains, and the driver is Tyler Jones. That's your field of 7 for our third qualifier today. 2-year-old pacing fillies to the top of the stretch. Gate picks up speed. All set. Qualifier number 3. And they're off and pacing. Big Chanel gets the first call away from post 2. Driving well down the center of the track. Here goes Mauritius, as that one is going to be showing some early speed pointed to the top. Sophie Secret comes on through and now gets into second. So away third is Big Chanel. For the time being, as driving on as My Bets on Bob goes into that 3-hole. Meanwhile, mid-pack in fifth as they get into the first bend is Jackie's Delight. That one posts up in front of Twin Bee Mythical, and then the trailer is Queen Pharaoh. 31-3 was the opening quarter, and they move to the backstretch. The leader here is Mauritius. She's a daughter of Captain Treacherous, leading it by a little more than a length and a half. Closing in a bit to sit right on the leader's helmet in second, and off stride on the lead went Mauritius. That one made a quick break, taken to the center by McNair. So going into the lead is Sophie Secret. Second is My Bets on Bob. Third to the midway point is Big Chanel. Then fourth is Jackie's Delight. A few more lengths back to Twin Bee Mythical. And getting some encouragement is Queen Pharaoh. And then making that break, the trailer again is Mauritius, as we are by the half in 101-4. So all alone on the lead here is Sophie Secret. It's the qualifying debut for this daughter of Bettor's Delight, and she's swinging away around the far turn, leading it by 4. My Bets on Bob in second, Big Chanel third. Fourth is Jackie's Delight, tracked closely by Twin Bee Mythical. And then we're going back to Queen Pharaoh. They're by 3/4 in 129-3, and swinging for home after a rock solid third quarter there. Sophie Secret was rolling, and she's into the lane. Still right there, though, is My Bets on Bob. That one is only 2.5 lengths away and is closing in a little bit as we're into the final 8th. So these two are well clear on everyone else. Big Chanel is back in third. Twin Bee Mythical coming up on the outside will now get into that spot. But down to the wire, Sophie Secret with a win in the qualifying debut. A length and a half way second was My Bets on Bob. Third was Twin Bee Mythical in a mile time of 1:57-3.
All right, that's a big back half there for Sophie Secret. Inherited the lead, and then once she got to the front, said, no one's going by me today, and gives Dave Maneri a second training win early on the card. Daughter of Bettor's Delight, an eye-catching 57-3 score, and looks like she could go a little further.
Yeah, I don't think James wanted to put her on the point, but another win for Dave Maneri. Getting a chance to speak with him for the twos in training issue for Trot. He mentioned that this was actually, the first yearling that he purchased this year at the sale, and he kind of joked. It's like back then you couldn't afford the Bettor's Delights, and it seems to be all that some people can afford at this current juncture. But it's honestly they just keep producing really good racehorses, and that was a really good effort by that filly.
Yeah, kind of a mid-level purchase, $50,000 out of Lexington. And the mare, Catch a Secret, had one already that's raced with a mark of 53 and change. And it looks like this filly will certainly see that kind of speed and maybe faster if today's any indication. And there's a nice look in the slow-mo. Love this shot because it gives you a look at, obviously, their gait. But, just if there are any little quirks or any little bumps along the way in the home stretch, and I didn't see any there.
No, I didn't see any there, but I tell you what, that was a really, really good effort by her, obviously inheriting the lead and just kind of looking mature. But I thought a really good effort by My Bets on Bob as well, though, Greg. Similar to what her sister did, Bet's a Bet, putting forth really, really good qualifying efforts. I know the year was a little bit inconsistent, but she showed promise early on. She showed some speed, in her most recent effort, getting the job done from way back. And hopefully this is filly that can replicate some of that talent and some of that speed as well.
Yeah, on days like this, you certainly don't mind finishing right up on the helmet of a winner that's that impressive and turning in that kind of back half speed to do it. So, a real, I think, statement type qualifying race today for Sophie's Secret. Looks destined for good things for Team Maneri as she exits the track here. James McDonald, no doubt, excited from what he got to learn about this filly here today. And good efforts again by all top three finishers here. Let's take another quick break and be back with more from Woodbine Mohawk Park in a moment.
This premier yearling auction, the London Classic Yearling Sale, returns this October. Hundreds of yearlings from Canada's top breeders and major buyers, all under one roof at the JR Expo Center. And American buyers, remember, your dollar goes further here. From the world-renowned Ontario Sire Stakes program to the Grand Circuit, London Classic graduates compete at the sport's highest level. You can't afford to miss the London Classic Yearling Sale, October 13th and 14th. For more information, visit londonclassic.ca.
You're watching Primetime Racing's coverage of the Rookie Showcase from Campbellville, Ontario, and Woodbine Mohawk Park. Just a beautiful day for qualifying races here on this Thursday morning as we welcome you back. We had Doc Hennessy, another friend of the show, just dropped by a moment ago, and want to thank the Doc. He's paying for the breakfast here this morning for the entire paddock. What a nice gesture that is. So we'll probably grab a breakfast sandwich on the way home today, I'm sure.
Well, added incentive now to grab one,
Yeah,
so without
absolutely.
a doubt, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's such a nice day to see many of the breeding farms represented here today. A lot of the folks are out to watch, of course, intently. Horses that they would have bred and raised, and seeing them on the track, highly rewarding. And the owners of these new prospects as well. It's just a real fun atmosphere this time of year.
Yeah, it's just an all-year affair, right? Just when you think the yearling sale is finished, they can take a little bit of a breath, but it just keeps on going. It's a full year affair. Now they get a chance to watch these babies hit the racetrack and qualify, and hopefully they can have themselves a pretty good career. So everybody watching in anticipation, and it's the best time of year.
You can see behind us, they're exiting the paddock location and stepping onto the track here. Trotters for qualifier number 4. And yeah, this is where we want to really watch these horses come out all calm, cool, and collected. The odd time you see one acting up, but you don't see as much of that anymore, John. The way the breeding's evolved, and almost from the time they're broke, they just know what they're doing and they're naturals.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's just the evolution of so many factors, right? Just how these horses are bred, how these horses are broke, and just the speed that follows through with it as well. But so many of these, I'm just impressed with how professional they look. I mean, I got a chance to watch a handful of the qualifiers last week. I noticed the same thing, and so far so good for many of them.
Many products here of the various major yearling sales from last fall, including the 3 Twinbee Kingsley, daughter of King of the North here. A sibling to Twinbee Archie, of course, stakes champion, made over $800,000 in his career. So, $55,000 purchase out of Lunding, a pretty reasonable price, I think, based on the pedigree there. You look at Frolic, the number 6, sibling to a pair of $500,000 winners. The stable owns this one. They're known for picking out those diamonds in the rough, right? Those bargain basement type purchases. So, $47,000 US for them is probably kind of in their mid-price range, I would say.
Yeah, and those two $500,000 winners, those sired by Chapter 7, and now you have Frolic here, who's going to be, sired by Tactical Landing. So if he can follow, she can follow suit in her siblings' footsteps. I mean, she's in for a good career. Those two are really, really talented trotters that she's related to.
Shake Your Mass, the number 8 in the field, is the lone returnee from a week ago. So Jeff Williams sent out this daughter of Muscle Mass last week, was put on the lead, got picked off late by a couple of impressive youngsters. Ordinarily you don't want to see horses get passed in their qualifiers, but this is one example where I wouldn't read too much into it. I thought it was a good effort. Be interested to see how she comes back today.
Yeah, I always love to see in a couple of qualifiers when they go twice, just not only how good they go, how well they go, but I love to see some of the versatility. Maybe this is a day where we're going to see an off-the-pace approach. Maybe see this filly, finish with a little bit of trot. But this is a mare, a dam that's produced racehorses, and hopefully Shake Your Mask can follow suit.
For sure, and looked good. Beautiful gated filly last week. That's what caught my eye. So really interesting to see if she can lower her speed today. Wagatha, number 5's the other daughter of King of the North in here, sibling to First Class Mass, a good one with a 54-3 record, just a $20,000 yearling purchase. Your initial assessment from what you've seen in just a limited number of the the King of the North first crop?
Yeah, I think they've been impressive to this point. Something that I've heard, they were tough to break in the very, very early stages is what many trainers kind of shared with me early on. But once they got going, they were ultra impressive, and I think we're going to start seeing that as they get set to qualify and as they get set to race. But Wagatha, not often we see John Pentland with some trotters. This is actually 2 trotters this year, that he was able to purchase. And, John Pentland telling me in the Twos in Training issue that he actually got a pretty good review from guys like Tyler Jones and Chris Christoforou when he purchased, this filly at the sale, saying really, really nice purchase. So, John Pentland obviously excited when he's got 2 guys who have trotting pedigrees, giving him praise for this purchase. So I think John Pentland's got plenty of reason to be excited about the starter of King of the North.
Yeah, the King of the North sold really well last fall at all the various sales. So, yeah, to be able to snag one for that kind of a price tag, worth a shot, certainly. And we'll get our first look here this morning. There's Selectively Sweet, lone daughter of Green Manalishi in the field here. And that stallion, of course, has really established himself in a couple of seasons here in Ontario. He's one of the kingpins on the trotting side for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, we see so many provincial standouts and horses that have showed a lot of promise. And again, some maybe a little bit under the radar because a lot of intrigue with King of the North now, but Green Manalishi continuing to produce good talent.
So we've got a driver change on one here. Cost Me a Toe. Interesting name. This one a sibling to $200,000 winner Kingman's going to pick up Mark McDonald. Speaking of Mark, back up to Mr. McKelvey with the call of Qualifier 4.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blanchard. We're set for the 4th qualifier as they are lined up. We'll meet the field in just a moment, as you guys did a nice job breaking down who we'll be watching here as we're back on the trot. 1 Trixie Lovelace is a Trixton filly. Kyle Fellows trains Doug McNair in the bike. This one came out of the Lexington Select Sale for $18,000 US. 2 Cost Me a Toe, a Walner filly. Blake McIntosh trains. The driver will be Mark McDonald. And this one was a yearling priced at $27,000 US from the Lexington Select Sale. 3 is Twin B Kingsley. It's going to be Trevor Henry for Scott McEnany. King of the North filly. This one, a $55,000 London Classic buy. 4, Some Luck Lady, a Muscle Mass filly, Todd Ratchford in the bike for Joe Parkinson. Muscle Mass filly, as mentioned. 5, Wagatha, King of the North filly. John Pentland trains, Bob McClure drives, $20,000 buy of the London Classic. 6, Frolic, Tactical Landing filly, James McDonald for Dominic Ladew. And this one came out of the Lexington sale for $47,000 US. 7, Selectively Sweet, a Green Manalishi filly. It's Tyler Borth for Jason Libby. Selectively Sweet was a Harrisburg buy for $60,000 US. And 8 is Shake Your Mass. Tyler Jones for Jeff Williams. A Muscle Mass filly, $57,000 was her yearling tag from the London Classic. Here we go for the 4th qualifier. Off stride is 8, Shake Your Mass. The others are off and trotting. On the outside is Selectively Sweet. We'll see if that one can press ahead enough to cross over. In the center is Wagatha. Here comes Cost Me a Toe through to get away 3rd. In behind horses in the early going is Frolic, and that one might try to advance. Then at the inside is Trixie Lovelace going back to Twin B Kingsley, followed by Some Luck Lady. And now back trotting the trailer is Shake Your Mass. So everybody's still looking to get things set up. Coming on through was Cost Me a Toe. This one was ready to go and leads by 2. Opening panel 32-1. So it's Cost Me a Toe, the daughter of Walner, a 2-length advantage here on Selectively Sweet. 3rd into the backside, settling in was Wagatha, that one being followed by Frolic, who got down to the rail in 4th. 2.5 lengths back to Trixie Lovelace, who is 5th. Another 2 lengths to Twin B Kingsley. Then 3 more lengths back to Some Luck Lady, and trotting well at the back, but a lot of work to do after the miscue at the start for Shake Your Mass. The leader here is a daughter of Walner. It's first time out for Cost Me a Toe, and she went off stride. She made a break on the lead approaching the midway point, so she'll go down to the inside. The half is up in 103-4. So everybody gets to advance to position, and now Selectively Sweet, we'll find out what she's made of on the front end. A 1.5 advantage from Wagatha, and here is a move now from Henry with Twin B Kingsley, and this King of the North filly makes a quick rush up to the lead. In 4th is Frolic, then in behind 5th, that is Some Luck Lady on the outside of Trixie Lovelace, and then back to our breakers. So a 3rd quarter move to the top for Twin B Kingsley by 3/4 in 135 and 2. So she did that very professionally. Didn't Twin B Kingsley going up to the lead, and now she will look to seal the deal in the final quarter. In second is Selectively Sweet. Here on the outside comes Frolic. To the inside is Wagatha. Also looking to finish well is Some Luck Lady. It's still Twin B Kingsley clear by 3. 16th of a mile remaining. Second is Selectively Sweet. Frolic went back down to the inside. A late rush from Some Luck Lady, but it is Twin B Kingsley. She will win it. The daughter of King of the North stops the clock in 2:04 and 1.
Trevor Henry picking up his second victory here this morning, guiding Twin B Kingsley. Highly regarded young lass, sired by King of the North from the great producing Fair Hall sibling, as we mentioned, Twin B Archie. Scott McEnany, familiar, of course, with that horse, and looks like she's going to follow in the big footsteps of the older brother, at least early on.
Yeah, Scott McEnany telling me in that Tuesday training issue that this is the first sibling that he's gotten a chance to train of Twin B Archie. Obviously, he tried to get a couple of them, was able to get this filly. And again, like I mentioned, just early on, he had his concerns because, she just didn't really want to do it. And the moment she got on the racetrack, he said that she was 2 fingers and trotted perfect. And I think we saw exactly that. But this was also a filly that kicked a couple of people at the sale. And
she's got a fiery attitude.
She's got a fire attitude, without a doubt. So, but she looks like she's got a lot of talent. That was an impressive move. When Trevor moved her first over, she was trotting with conviction. And when she got to the lead, she looked pretty mature. So I think Scott McEnany, he's really high on his 2-year-old crop this year. And so far, so good with this daughter of King of the North.
And even here, it looks like, not sure if wrestling is the right word, but she doesn't really want to pull up right now.
No, she doesn't. She wants to keep on going. And again, I think that's a good sign, a filly that wants to do her job. So pretty good showing there by Twin B Kingsley. But I thought a nice showing there by Selectively Sweet as well. Looked nice gate.
Rock solid.
Really well gated. I thought put forth a really nice effort.
Yeah, rock solid, and held off one that tried to rally inside of her. Frolic, who had some late go as well. Another one of those where you're trying to dissect, you're focused on the winner, of course, but there are other horses you want to take a look at because everyone's got coming into today with a different agenda, right, in terms of how fast they want to go and what they're looking to get from today's qualifying races.
Yeah, and you mentioned about approach. James McDonald, he's always got an approach of wanting to just have them, keep them tight and have them finishing strong. And, Frolic, he drove exactly that. And this is a filly that finished up with some trot. Unfortunately, we saw some greenness. We talked about professionalism, though, Greg cost me a toe, jumping it off on the engine. I was excited to see what that filly could do this morning.
Yeah, but the good thing is lots of time for them to bounce back, and I'm sure we'll see that. Shake Your Mass as well looked so professional, I thought, last week. A mistake today. You again have to remember, these are just babies just learning the ropes. Time for another break. Back with more Pacing Fillies when we return.
The award-winning Terra Hill Stud is home to the All-Stars, including Cattle Watch, sire of the undefeated U.S. and Canadian Horse of the Year, Bo Jangles. Green Manalishi, the leading OSS stallion of 2- and 3-year-olds in 2025. Terra Hills is also home to Dan Patch Award winner King of the North, who is set to unleash his first crop in 2026. And of course, the perennial leading sire, Muscle Mass, whose sons and daughters have now earned over $90 million. This stacked roster is only getting deeper as Terra Hills welcomes for 2026 the Iron Horse of Buckabent Hanover and the champion son of Chapter 7, Killmister. This is Terra Hills Stud, home of the All-Stars. For more, visit terrahills.com.
Getting closer to the midway point of day one of this weekend's baby races from Woodbine Mohawk Park, and an exciting time and always intriguing when you're looking at those high-priced yearlings, those blue-chip prospects, if you want to call it that, that have those tremendous pedigrees, and people were dipping into the wallets in a big way at the yearling sales, and we've got a few of them on display here today. Our first look at one of those 6-figure purchases right here in qualifier number 5.
Yeah, and this is one, a filly that Brad Grant had sent to, Dr. Ian Moore, that Dr. Bridget Jablonski actually picked out. So This is a full sister. She's out of a full sister to Captain Treacher. She's also related to Michaela. And Michaela was a really, really fast mare, though, Greg, a 147 in 4 miles. So if this filly can replicate some of that speed, there's plenty to be enticed. And the daughter of Bulldog Hanover, so I'm excited to see what Monte Carlo can do here this morning.
Yes, Michaela competed right at the top level, was a Grand Circuit winner, made $714,000, and again, that quick speed badge, 47 of 4, so one of the fastest mares ever in harness racing. So there's a lot to like on the pedigree side for Monte Carlo, and aptly named $175,000 Lexington yearly purchase. Another one in the field that was scheduled to go postward last week, didn't make it to the gate though, Ain't She a Pistol, but is back on the docket here today from post 3.
Yeah, curious to see what this, daughter of Cattle Wash can do. Again, the mare, sibling to a couple of, quality racehorses, and hopefully this is a filly that can be the same.
And, we've got the other end of the spectrum in terms of yearling purchase price. Just $7,000 doled out for something special post 1 starter here. A Sunshine Beach filly. Again, a $7,000 purchase from the London Classic last year, Gerard Demir's training. This one's a sibling to the $1.4 million winner, Dapper Dude.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes, price points aren't the end-all, be-all. I know everybody pays for pedigree, and they've got a lot of, and confirmation, and they've got a lot of high hopes for that, but we see a lot of Cinderella stories with some of these lower-priced yearlings, and you're curious to see what's something special, if she can be, hopefully, appropriately named.
Got one from a couple from the Twinbrook Farm operation here today. Twinbee Mayru, your post 2 starter, $47,000 London Classic purchase, and a second full from a McCardle mare, Olivia McSkywalker, daughter of Cattle Wash. Also, Twinbee Girl Talk, she's a Cattle Wash filly in the first full from the well-said mare, Twinbee Chit Chat, $60,000 London Classic purchase. So you're always interested to see ones that have first full mares, that type of thing, from proven sires, because you just really don't know what you're going to get, and you're often surprised in a good way.
And I know Tony, absolutely, Greg, and I know Tony Beaton obviously excited about Twinbee Girl Talk. She's out of a sister to Twinbee Eagle, who actually won a Champlain for them as a 2-year-old. So this is a filly that he obviously is partial to, but one that he's also got high hopes for as well.
Will Fleming owns number 6 Midnight Matrimony. She's also a daughter of Cattle Wash, bred by Ashley and Dean Wilson, sibling to D.A. Let's Dance, who's getting a little bit better as time goes on. The Rider, a horse that's had kind of a limited racing career, probably has some issues, but a world of talent. So an intriguing possibility here as well from post 6. And we can see they are assembling behind the starting gate, 7 of them to line up on the pace. Back upstairs to Mark.
Thank you very much, Greg. As the horses take their positions, this is qualifier number 5 as we scoot along on this Thursday morning. Number 1, Something Special. J.R. Plant is in the bike here for Gerard Demers. Sunshine Beach filly came out of the London Classic for $7,000. 2 is Twinbee Mayro, Cattle Wash filly. Francis Dumichel trains. Tyler Jones will drive. $47,000 London Classic grad. 3, Ain't She a Pistol? It'll be Louis Waugh for trainer Jeff Williams, a Cattle Wash filly. $38,000 out of the London Classic. 4, Monte Carlo, a Bulldog Hanover filly. Dr. Ian Moore trains. Your driver is Bob McClure. And this one had a big yearling price at $175,000 US from the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. 5 is Fiesta Delight, Better's Delight filly. Gino Toscani trains and drives. This Better's Delight daughter comes out of Lexington for $11,000 US. 6 is Midnight Matrimony, a Cattle Wash filly. Doug McNair for trainer Greg McNair. And this one, $27,000 as a yearling from the London Classic. On the outside is 7, Twinbee Girl Talk, a Cattle Wash filly. Tony Beaton trains, James McDonald drives. And this one also from the London Classic, $60,000. That's your field of 7 2-year-old pacing fillies lined up. Here they come. And they're off and pacing here in qualifier number 5. Fiesta Delight is going to kick out to the early lead. Midnight Matrimony came off the wings nicely and marches into second. Ain't She a Pistol gets away in third. On the outside is Money Carlo. To that one's left is Twin B Mayro. And then we go back to Something Special, and the final one will be Twin B Girl Talk. An outside starting spot, so just yields to the back. Toscani leads it with Fiesta Delight. Getting into second there and settling to the rail is Midnight Matrimony. Third is Ain't She a Pistol. Opening panel up in 33 seconds. Pacing fillies will enter the backstretch. And the leader clear here by 4 lengths into the backstretch. Fiesta Delight, she starts to take off here in split number 2. Second is Midnight Matrimony. Then in third is Ain't She a Pistol. Now getting underway, Money Carlo is set to go. Already out from fourth for McClure. Then back to Twin B Mayro, followed by Something Special. And then closing in on that one is Twin B Girl Talk. Your leader here is Fiesta Delight. A second quarter move for Money Carlo, who now edges into second. 101-4 was the half. 28-4 second quarter here for Fiesta Delight. So after a slow opening panel, the pacing fillies sure got into gear. Now into second is Money Carlo. Third is Midnight Matrimony. On that one's back and starting to edge it to the outside is Ain't She a Pistol. Then it's back to Twin B Mayro. And then the final two, Something Special and Twin B Girl Talk. But all alone on the lead has been Fiesta Delight through this middle half, and she's by 3/4 in 1:30-1. Head of the lane here for Fiesta Delight. Out and about the 2 path as she's into the home stretch. In second, that is now Money Carlo. On the outside, Ain't She a Pistol. Looking to come on through is going to be Twin B Mayro. Also still there in the mix is Midnight Matrimony. 16th of a mile to go, and the lead is shrinking for Fiesta Delight. Money Carlo edging in up the rail. Good final quarter here from Midnight Matrimony, but it is Money Carlo to take it. Midnight Matrimony was second, Fiesta Delight was third, and Twin B Mayro was fourth. The mile time, 1:58-2. A good-looking debut for the daughter of Bulldog Hanover, Money Carlo.
Okay, John, did you write the first quarter down? I think it was 33 seconds, correct?
Yeah.
So a mile and 58-2, 125-2, the final 3 quarters for Money Carlo. Deceptively fast, I would say.
Yeah, you could see Bob had to pull her first over. Gino Toscani was on the engine there with Fiesta Delight, and Bob just ducked her back into the deuce, and looked like maybe she wasn't going to get there, but she was pacing really, really quick up on the inside. You could see a couple of reminders there for Bob just to get this filly pacing, but again, whip up as she approaches the wire. Really, really nice effort, and hopefully this is a bit of a segue or foreshadowing of what we're going to see on Saturday night with Doc and Bob.
Big late kick from Midnight Matrimony as well, second, and I would think Greg McNair and son Doug are going to be quite happy with that.
Yeah, without a doubt. She had some really, really good pace on the end of it. So I think that's, like I said earlier on, that's exactly what you want to see. I think they should be really, really pleased with this effort from the starter of Cattle Wash.
And, we'll want to look at the full replays afterwards, because I'm sure we'll pick out other horses that finish back mid-pack in some of these races that you can, put a little circle around and suspect that they're going to come back and jump up in a significant way next week. There's a look at Fiesta Delight, the tempo setter. She carried her speed a long way here and through those final 3 quarters.
Yeah, something we see regularly from Gino Toscani in these baby races. He likes to get some good fitness into them. He likes to handle them aggressively and just keep them on the engine.
All right, so the high-priced yearling with the big pedigree, Money Carlo, does what was expected, does prevail, and did it, I would say, fairly in hand at the end.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, it shouldn't shock you that a Doc Moore trainee is ready to go. A pretty good effort in a qualifying effort. Doc Moore, along with a handful of other trainers, they're ready to go not only in qualifiers but first asking off the bench. So really, really good showing by Money Carlo this morning.
Getting our first look at Ian Moore's new crop this year. We like what we see so far, and we're going to see more of it as we have still plenty of coverage to go here. We've got one more. We're on the trot for the next one just before we take a break, and then we'll be back with the back half of our coverage here today. The Rookie Showcase continues on Prime Time Racing.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine's new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online, offers the best online service available. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easily as 123 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To view the sales schedule, create your account, or learn more, visit www.preferredequineonline.com or call our sales team at 914-773-7777.
Welcome back. Just outside the paddock location here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and it is getting warm. Warmer by the minute, I would say. Sun's just beating down on our back here, but we're not complaining, John. We've put in a long winter here in Ontario, so we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate the cold, so I'll take it as hot as it wants to get, and hopefully that some of that heat translates to some of the miles that we see on Saturday night.
I think so. We're looking forward to it. We've been looking forward to seeing the first crop of King of the North this year. A couple of youngsters have already been out this morning. We'll see another one here. There's a look at how his yearling sold last year. So for a first crop stallion, there was a lot of excitement, and people wanted a King of the North, and they paid to get them. So he sustained one of the top trotting averages throughout many of the major sales last fall. He'll have a total of 9 this morning, including a regally bred filly here, Northern Lights Glow from Post 8.
Yeah, homebred for Bet Max Stables, and this is one, obviously a sibling to Righteous Resolve and Duly Resolve, a pair of O'Brien Award winners, a pair of $1 Million trotters that Bax Stable trained, and obviously those were bred to Resolve. This Star Dam is going to be bred to King of the North this time out, so there's plenty of intrigue here with Northern Lights Glow. But you talked about how they sold in the yearling in the ring. They did awfully well, but again, we saw a pretty impressive showing from Twinbee Kingsley, I thought, here. So a pretty good indication, hopefully, of what's to come from this new sire here in Ontario.
Just got to look at Mark Etzel. He had an impressive-looking youngster out earlier today, and he's got one here, Proud Marie, Muscle Mass filly. Post 1, a sibling to a couple of $100,000 winners. And Trevor Henry on the Post 2 starter Tic Tac Fashion, looking for a third trotting winner this morning.
Yeah, he's had some good showings with a couple of horses here as well. Obviously, Rick Zeron training another progeny of Tactical Andy, seems to be just having success with some of them. And Proud Marie, nice to see this one owned by Frank and Generimo Lamacchia. This is one that I remember Mark telling me he had to push Frank and Germino to buy this filly. I know they were looking for one at the yearling sale, and hopefully this daughter of Muscle Mass can do some pretty good things for them. It's been a pretty good partnership between them and Mark Etzel.
2 fillies in this group are going to be coming back for a second straight week. The Wonderful Girl, number 3, Alarm Detector filly, 4th last week in qualifying action. Poor Intentions, Next Door, daughter of Jim Pansy for Gino Toscani. She was 6th a week ago. A couple other new faces here. London Classic sale graduates, number 5, Timel Rockstar. Sibling to Timel Starstruck, Timel Tulo. Couple of nice trotting performers there, bred by Timel Farms, of course, of Oldcastle, Ontario. And the Oakley Farm Incorporated bred It's So Easy Being Green. This one a second foal. The first foal goes by the name of Joseph, has had just one start, I believe, and showed some ability, and I think is in to go again this Friday at Grand River.
I believe the same family from Fashion Frenzy, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say that the second dam produced, Fashion Frenzy too, obviously, a staple here at our open trot level. So, pretty good family overall.
And another alarm detector in the field. There's 2 in here. The other being Sassy Siren. This one owned by Dale Colson. Bred in New York from Batavia, New York, and Brenda Duncan does the training. Tyler Jones scheduled to drive this filly from Post 7. So a good-looking field of 8, but as we tend to do, you focus on the ones with those great pedigrees. You're immediately looking to see any similarities early on between the more famous siblings.
Yeah, that's the quickest thing. Everybody wants to compare, and that's why we see some of those yearlings go for a little bit more at the sale. They're not always going to replicate the talent level or the speed of their brothers or sisters, but that just seems to be the indication of what they're going to go for in the ring. So it can be hit or miss buying the siblings, but this is a sibling of Righteous Resolve and Duly Resolved that we get a chance to see here, Northern Lights Glow, that I'm expecting some pretty good things from, and I'm really, really excited to see what the start of King of the North can do here this morning.
All right, and I'm expecting some good things right now as we go back up to Mark McKelvey with the call.
Comes out of the Harrisburg sale for $27,000 US. 2, Tic Tac Fashion, a tactical landing filly. Trevor Henry for Rick Zeron. This was a $13,000 Harrisburg buy. Next up, number 3, The Wonderful Girl. She's an alarm detector filly. It'll be Eddie Green for Keelan Green. 4, Poor Intentions, Chimpanzee filly. Gino Toscani trains and drives. Second qualifier for this rookie. She was a Lexington Select find for $16,000 US. 5 is Time Owl Rockstar. It's Doug McNair for Greg McNair, daughter of Green Shoe. Went through the London Classic for $14,000. 6, It's So Easy Being Green, a Green Manalishi filly. Gerald Lilly trains and drives. $32,000 yearling buy was It's So Easy Being Green, and that one came out of the London Classic. Outside 2, Sassy Siren 7, alarm detector filly, Tyler Jones for Brenda Duncan. And number 8, Northern Lights Glow, a King of the North filly. Matt Bax trains, James McDonald does the driving. It's a field of 8 for qualifier number 6. Good looking start as the fillies are all up on the gate. And here we go, qualifier 6. They're off and trotting. Time All Rockstar right away well from the center. In behind that one is Poor Intention. Squeezing between horses, The Wonderful Girl. And Tic Tac Fashion is at the inside in 4th. Floating away mid-pack, Northern Lights Glow. Unhurried there. We'll be looking for a seat. Sassy Siren's already been able to cut over to the inside. Proud Marie and It's So Easy Being Green will sort things out at the back of the pack, as our clear leader here is Time All Rockstar, and she's a daughter of Green Shoe. She's up front from The Wonderful Girl in second. That opening quarter was 31-1, and as the trotters will move towards the backstretch, we watch Time All Rockstar show the way. The Wonderful Girl, second time out, she's in second. Tic Tac Fashion in the debut is third. Gap of 4 then back to Poor Intentions. It's also that one's second qualifier. Northern Lights Glow is in mid-pack position 5th. Couple lengths then back to Sassy Siren. 2 more lengths back to Proud Marie, and rounding things out, It's So Easy Being Green. Time All Rockstar by a little more than a length and a half, and she leads it for McNair off a 31-1 opener, was by the half in 102-3. Trotters now will enter the far bend. Time All Rockstar leading it. The Wonderful Girl in second. Tic Tac Fashion will stay to the wood there third. First one to the outside was Poor Intentions 4th. Inside 5th, Northern Lights Glow. Then we go back to Sassy Siren, followed by Proud Marie, and rounding things out, It's So Easy Being Green. Length and a half advantage up top here for Time All Rockstar, who's trying to go the distance. The Wonderful Girl right behind on the helmet there second. And Tic Tac Fashion looks poised for a good final quarter, starting to angle out third. 1:32-3 was your 3-quarter clocking. That was a third quarter and 30 seconds even, and it's Time All Rockstar into the lane, still leading it. Starting to edge to the outside was The Wonderful Girl. Here comes Tic Tac Fashion roaring up, and Northern Lights Glow starts to feed her way across the track into deep stretch. Time All Rockstar, Tic Tac Fashion. Behind horses The Wonderful Girl, it's Tic Tac Fashion to take it. Time All Rockstar was second. Photo for third between The Wonderful Girl and Northern Lights Glow. 2:01-4. Up to take it, Tic Tac Fashion, the daughter of Tactical Landing.
Well, it's been the Trevor Henry show with the trotters this morning, sweeping all 3 trotting races on the morning session so far, and this time with Tic Tac Fashion just kind of times it perfectly and measured the wire and looked good doing it with 29-1 final quarter speed.
Yeah, without a doubt, a really, really good effort by her, and like you mentioned, a lot of good, youngsters that Trevor Henry got a chance to guide here to the winner's circle here in the morning. But a couple other ones ultra impressive here, I thought as well.
Agreed. I'll give a good B+ to an A for Time All Rockstar. If you were going to grade them, I thought that daughter of Green Shoe did well, showed some trot, a little bit of fight there at the end of the mile. And then Northern Lights Glow just sat in, had to wait till room developed in the stretch. They were in no rush and finished a good lap on third. And looking at the body language and the way the horse travels and the way the horse goes, very similar to the older siblings.
Yeah, and typical James Qualifier there. I mean, the moment he kind of angled her out right behind Trevor, you knew that he wasn't going to angle her out even further to take her shot. He just wants to keep them brave, and she had a lot of try, and he had a pretty good hold on this filly. It's always interesting to see when, Matthew Bax sends one out to qualify. Sometimes he wants to go with them if there's a couple things that he wants to figure out. He's mentioned that multiple times, but he sent out James McDonald aboard, the starter of King of the North, and again, so far, so good in her first showing, and she's got some big shoes to fill as well.
Such an economical gait, travels low, the head down, and a nice reach, and I think they would be happy with that kind of rate on track, but it was tic-tac-toe here for Trevor Henry, guiding this tactical landing filly to victory. Rick Zeron training, and this one, just a $13,000 Harrisburg yearling purchase. You talk about master trotting horseman, Rick Zeron. He's got an eye for a good one. Might have another one here.
Yeah, and obviously he trains a pretty talented trotter and landing on time, one that he had high hopes for during what was an up and down three-year-old campaign given the expectation level, but a son of tactical landing no less, so you could tell he's definitely partial to that sire, and pretty good showing here by his daughter.
All right, we are halfway home this morning. We are going to take a break now, or intermission, but we got a special guest coming up on the other side of this break. Pat Woods of Winback Farm is going to join us to chat a little bit, and again, we'll have our intermission during that time, let horses warm up, and the track crew to get things ready for the second half of our coverage today. Hope you're enjoying it so far. You're watching the Rookie Showcase on Prime Time Racing.
Join us this August on Prince Edward Island for the Gold Cup and Saucer, presented by Atlantic Lottery. Visit redshores.ca for more details.
From Hanover's Bertha to Bulldog Hanover. From Shepherd to Simpson to Williams. Hanover Shoe Farms, celebrating 100 years as the greatest name in harness racing.
Canada's premier yearling auction, the London Classic Yearling Sale, returns this October. Hundreds of yearlings from Canada's top breeders and major buyers, all under one roof at the JR Expo Center. And American buyers, remember, your dollar goes further here. From the world-renowned Ontario Sire Stakes program to the Grand Circuit, London Classic graduates compete at the sport's highest level. You can't afford to miss the London Classic Yearling Sale, October 13th and 14th. For more information, visit londonclassic.ca.
Winback Farm of Canada's home to 9 outstanding stallions, including Metro-based champion Captain's Quarters, who's new in 2026. Beach Glass, winner of the Meadowlands Pace and the last great son of Some Beach Somewhere, his first yearling crop sells in 2026. Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner and Meadowlands Pace champion, whose first crop sells in 2026. The Great McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, and two-time O'Brien Award winner Tattoo Artist, a winner on every size track with many stakes and track records. Also standing Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, it's winbackfarm.com.
And welcome back. We are at our trackside location here, just outside the paddock at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Time for our intermission. We're going to have a break of about 20 minutes. They'll do some track maintenance and get things ready and allow the horses in the second half of our races today to complete their warm-ups. So in the meantime, we've got a special guest joining us, Pat Woods, taking a little bit of time away from the farm and to join us here today. First of all, is it hard for you to get away at the farm? From the farm this time of year, and how exciting is it to be here on a day like today?
It's always tough to get away from the farm during breeding season, foaling. So having a day like today is great for me. I love coming out here and seeing a bunch of the babies, yearlings that we sold last year at the sales and how they've developed, and talk to the trainers, see how they've grown and developed. It's always exciting, and it's a lot of fun to find the excitement, when they're out here performing.
Any old farm favorites, ones that when they were growing up kind of grew on everybody at the farm that you've seen competing already in the last week or two?
Yeah, there was just one there in the last race, that Proud Mary. She's out of a mare that I had at the farm. She was one of my favorite mares. She was just easygoing, gentle, never caused us any problems. So seeing her muscle mass out there was really nice. We like to see, and that's one that we would have, I would have been there to pull out as a baby.
Wow.
So to see it develop now and be a racehorse is special.
And Pat, I just want to say, obviously a busy season and a busy year. It's 365, but what are some of the challenges that people maybe aren't aware of, in your role?
It's a big roller coaster with breeding and foaling. You can have the best moments of your life down to the worst, when things go wrong. But for the most part, it's just the challenges of dealing with these horses on a daily basis. Like, it is 24/7, and that's our biggest challenges.
And what do you look for specifically when you're looking for a potential sire?
For us on that side, we watch races. I inspect horses in the paddocks, see how they move, and then we look to see conformationally what they are, the heart they're going to have, and then it's going around and talking to the owners and trainers of the horses and try to build relationships and then work on trying to make deals. It's always tough, but this time of year, as these 3-year-olds are coming back, that's what we do.
Rumor has it you're always working the phones. I have good sources.
Yeah, we do.
That's what you got to do, right? It's business. And speaking of stallions, a couple of new stallions that we're going to see their offspring next year from your place. Beach Glass, Lawless Shadow, and a lot of them I know from my perspective in London, we've seen a lot of them entered this year for the sale there. So how's the response been to both of them?
Both have been really good. The feedback on the yearlings is that they're developing very well. A lot of people and a lot of farms have gotten back to me, and they're very happy with the Beach Glass and Lawless Shadows. So I think we're going to expect good things from them at the sales.
And Beach Glass had his biggest crop ever, I think.
Yeah, this year he's going to breed well over 150 mares, and high-quality mares too.
That's incredible.
Big farms are jumping in on them and breeding some high-end horses.
And are both of them putting a stamp on them that you notice?
Absolutely. We've had really good response, especially on the Beach Glass. They seem to develop with age. One of my blacksmiths just told me yesterday that the best looking yearling that he's seen in Ontario right now is a Beach Glass at Philly at Aaronwood.
All right, and speaking of sires, obviously you guys have captain's quarters as well, and I believe his crop is going to be selling not this fall, but the following fall, correct?
Yeah, this was his first breeding season. We did close his book. He's got well over 100 mares. He's doing very well. We were really happy with him. We kind of developed a relationship with the owner because he got turned out at our place after the Metro win here. So he wintered with us and then went back racing. And then when he was done racing, they reached out to us and asked if he could come to our place and have another turnout, and then we made a deal to stand him.
Really well bred, though. I mean, this is a horse with some fast marks and beats some really talented horses. It's almost like he's kind of flying under the radar at times as well.
I do believe that. He's not an overly big horse, but he's just built like a little tank, and he's so well conformed, and his breeding is impeccable. I mean, these are the big things. And the Ontario people here realized how good and well bred this horse is, and have responded by putting really good mares to him.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of horses, not much size at times, but if they can carry that speed and display it, I mean, it can result in some pretty good things. So hopefully, the progeny can kind of carry that trait.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
And being Pepsi NA Cup weekend, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Nijinsky, past NA Cup winner, who Winback now has standing in New York. How's that been going for him there?
It's been going well for him. The response has been good. He's going to get a good book of mares. Winback has supported him very well. We love the breeding on him, especially being a Bettor's Delight. We're a little, impartial to, the Bettor's Delights being that we bred him. So we love that he's a Bettor's Delight, and we've got lots of mares that suit well to it.
And we should touch on Tattoo Artist as well, making the
Tattoo
transition to Ontario, right?
Yes, and then his first crop will sell this year, but they're New Jersey eligible.
Right.
And then the next 2 crops.
And I looked him up on Track It. I was amazed, like the quality of mares he got was incredible. So we could see anything, I think, on the racetrack from him this year.
Yeah, the one thing I can say about him, we did have a bunch from the first crop born at the farm for clients, Let It Ride stables. And he does stamp them very well. They're very correct. They'd be medium size, but very well put together. Good back end. I mean, he's impeccably bred as well.
And just before we wrap up, I want to ask you, you've got a kind of a cool promotion you're involved with here this weekend?
Yeah, as part of our, Winback Winners Circle, we do have a promotion for a Name the Foal contest. On Saturday night at the front entrance, we'll have one of our mares and foals that anybody that comes into the building can suggest a name, fill out their little ballot thing, and we'll pick a winner. And someone will get to come to the farm to meet the mare and foal, and we'll have a little prize pack for them. And it'll be out front before the races on North American Cup night.
That's awesome, and I know you guys are always accessible to the general public, right? You have, I think it's a Mother's Day get-together and some other things out there during the year?
Yeah, and we do some other things. I know they're doing a Name the Foal contest down at the Meadows as well. And we always try to, have groups come out to the farm. We try to be interactive with the people.
Yep.
It's important.
A lot of sponsorship too with various racetracks. In London, I know that. Grand River, of course, here at Woodbine Mohawk Park and elsewhere.
Yeah, Joe and Joanne Thompson are 100% involved with this industry and put a lot of time and money into the sport. And it's not hard to work for a person like that.
For sure. And the leading breeder in the Ontario Sire Stakes program, I think, the last couple of years. So want to wish you guys the best of luck again this year, Pat. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to grab a breakfast sandwich. Take advantage of that. Compliments of Doc Hennessy.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Good luck.
Thanks so much, guys.
No problem.
All right,
Thanks.
time for another break. We'll be back with more in a moment.
All right, thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
sir. Appreciate
No
it.
worries. Like I say, anytime.
Well, the moment is here, and the time is now as we get set for one of the biggest races on Canadian soil. It's the Pepsi North America Cup. $1 million on the line. We have a perfect start. And away they go. That's the fastest three-quarters in the history of the cup. Stakes and track record.
And Tyler Moore in the Gold Cup and Soccer. Archer Scott Giron in the Gold Cup and Saucer.
Join us this August on Prince Edward Island for the Gold Cup and Saucer, presented by Atlantic Lottery. Visit redshores.ca for more details.
From Hanover's Bertha to Bulldog Hanover. From Shepherd to Simpson to Williams. Hanover Shoe Farms, celebrating 100 years as the greatest name in harness racing.
Canada's premier yearling auction, the London Classic Yearling Sale, returns this October. Hundreds of yearlings from Canada's top breeders and major buyers, all under one roof at the JR Expo Center. And American buyers, remember, your dollar goes further here. From the world-renowned Ontario Sire Stakes program to the Grand Circuit, London Classic graduates compete at the sport's highest level. You can't afford to miss the London Classic Yearling Sale, October 13th and 14th. For more information, visit londonclassic.ca.
Winbank Farm of Canada is home to 9 outstanding stallions, including Metro-based champion Captain's Quarters, who's new in 2026. Beach Glass, winner of the Meadowlands Pace and the last great son of Some Beach Somewhere, his first yearling crop sells in 2026. Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner and Meadowlands Pace champion, whose first crop sells in 2026. The Great McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, and two-time O'Brien Award winner tattoo artist, a winner on every size track with many stakes and track records. Also standing Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, it's winbackfarm.com.
Just finishing up our intermission break as we welcome you back to Woodbine Mohawk Park and day 2 of our rookie showcase this season. We had just a single session a week ago. This time around, we're going to see fillies today in 12 races, half of those completed if you're just joining us, 6 more to go, and colts take center stage tomorrow. While we get ready to meet the field for qualifier number 7 here, John, something we did a week ago just for fun. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I'm going to ask you for a time prediction. Now, we've already had 6 races complete, but with 6 more to go, give me a time prediction on the pace and the trot today for the fastest mile.
Trot, I will go 50. I'll go 59, and then on the pace, I'll go 56 and 3. That's what I'll go.
56 and
Maybe
3.
a bit ambitious, but Jeff thought the same last week, and he ended up, getting a pretty quick mile. So
yeah, we thought we maybe overshot the runway last week, and then a pacing pacing colt, I should say, went in 56 and 1. So
that was Blake's, right?
Bailed me out. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go on the trot side 2 minutes and a fifth.
Okay.
And then on the pace, I'm going to go 56 and 4.
Right.
I don't
feel
think
like
they're
we're on
going
the
to go
Price is Right final showcase here.
quite as fast. Now, this time next week, those time predictions, as we know, will change dramatically.
Yep. Big time, and especially with some more experience, with some more youngsters that we're going to be able to debut. And we know a lot of these trainers bring these horses in ready to qualify fast, specifically being guys like Blake McIntosh and Doc Moore. They have them razor sharp.
Yeah, certain trainers have a pattern, don't they, of how they bring the horses back and how they want them qualified. So you must, I'm sure, factor that into handicapping when you're seeing these 2-year-olds debut in pari-mutuel action and trying to decipher the information. You have the limited information. I'm sure that's a big part of it.
Look, one of the biggest handicapping tools is intent, right? I mean, these are their first time under the lights when they go to the gate in pari-mutuel action. It's a long season. You don't want to take too much out of them in start number 1, but there are a handful of trainers who want their horses driven aggressively, whether it be start number 1 or start number 100, and you've got drivers who have a tendency to be aggressive with certain horses. So we're going to be wrong in terms of evaluating talent on so many levels, but there are times, obviously, when I see horses qualify and they get set to a race, I figure X, Y, and Z might be more talented than other horses, but those other horses are, might get good middle halves, are going to get aggressively handled, and by virtue of that, they're going to have the edge. It's, we've seen it, so many times, guys like Jody, Tyler, Doug, they handle some of these youngsters aggressively. Everybody's got a different approach. That's not to say they can't get the job done, but everybody's got a certain way that they want to do it.
And we talked about you being well-traveled. You just got back from the Elite Lop. Had to be the experience of a lifetime. And we see a lot at the Meadowlands down at the Big M with our colleague down there, Dave Little. And it's nice, too, isn't it, John, to get down there and get a first glimpse in person at some of the young horses emerging there. And then when you come back here and once you see those first clashes, you kind of know really who's who in both jurisdictions.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, getting a chance to be at qualifiers live is just so much fun. Obviously, I think I've had more opportunities to watch qualifiers in person at the Meadowlands, versus here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. I know they've got a big slate here this morning, and it's where you get a chance to see so many really talented horses, not only here but at the Meadowlands. So, just a lot of fun getting a chance to, cover our sport. And this is the best time of year because this is our first chance at some of these 2-year-olds. Everybody's got high hopes, everybody's got big dreams, and it's fun to see. It's good to be a dreamer, though. It's just fun to see how they continue to progress, and we get a good fortune of covering it all.
And you and I both got to call some of the action at the baby races last year at the Big M. That was a lot of fun, and you're right. You're getting a look at a totally different group down there. Marcus Melander, Nancy Tactor, debuting their youngsters. A lot of fun, right?
Yep.
And and you're just trying to, you're looking for that one or two that just jump out off the page, as we are here, that you look and say, that's something special. You're going to hear a lot more from that horse as the season goes on. That's why this is just a fun time of year, such an exciting time of year if you're a horse racing fan. And of course, horse racing fans are very excited about what lies ahead this weekend. John, of course, the big matchup, the Pepsi North America Cup, a lot of talk around that. Is there another race that you're really looking forward to, some other marquee matchup or a particular horse that you're excited to watch?
I'm really excited for the Fan Hanover. I've talked about at length how excited I am about this 3-year-old filly pace division. Lua Deepa, obviously, right now is the one to beat until proven otherwise. She was a Dan Patch Award winner for good reason. We saw some great efforts from her here locally, but Be Perfect BG. She's a filly that really stepped up in a big way, hasn't gotten beat yet. Again, you earn the right to take on fillies of this caliber at the Grand Circuit level. I don't think anybody knew what the starter of Perfect Sting was capable of. She's passed every test with flying colors. This is going to be her biggest test to date on Saturday, but I think every indication is that she's ready to be a main player at the Grand Circuit level all season long.
And with those two major races, Fan Hanover and the NA Cup, we're seeing firsthand how critical it is to win your elimination and ensure a good post position. Some very good horses didn't get much luck in the post draw for the finals.
Yeah, Brandon Boulevard being one of them. Unfortunately, he drew post 10, and he raced so well in his North America Cup elimination. And look, touched by an angel, it was between post 4 or post 4 for him. It went right to the wire. He ultimately got post number 4. How good was his effort in his good times elimination, going first over and just getting picked off? So you always hate to see horses that race so well in the elim, draw poorly. Even Always Dawn, another local mare that we get a chance to see compete here. She was flying on the end of it in her Roses Are Red elimination. Unfortunately, she drew post 8, but we know we're going to be hearing from her late in the mile. She's a fast mare.
It's going to be a lot of fun. One of the best programs from top to bottom you will see anywhere in North America this season, this Saturday night, highlighted by the $1 million Pepsi North America Cup. They are back on the track as we resume qualifying action this morning. Another group of filly pacers getting set to square off in here. And some really interesting pedigrees here that I think you have to take a look at. One that you'll know well as Baby Jane, the number 4, Cattle Wash filly. This is a full sibling to Never Leave Harlan, one that we've watched race, John, and a talented youngster with a quick mark of 52-1.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, was that one who broke its maiden, as of late, I believe, last week as well. So
that's right.
Definitely one, that's pretty fast. And there's, I think that's kind of the theme here with a handful of these, starters, maybe a little bit under the radar, but these, some of these youngsters, they come from some pretty fast families, and Baby Jane definitely one of them.
And a mixed bag of stallions represented in here. Courtly Choice has one in the post 2 starter Living Color, first foal from Color Envy, who was a nice mare that made almost $200,000. Perfect Sting, we talked about Be Perfect BG, and Sting Away will have post 7 here. This is a Perfect Sting sibling to a couple of $250,000 winners and just a $12,000 yearling. And we also get the full sister here to PNG Shadow for Tyler Moore. And PNG Shadow, light in the wind column, but has been a really high-end filly in the provincial program.
Just some really tough trips. We're going to get a chance to see her compete tomorrow night on Woodbine Mohawk Park's program, but the last couple of trips haven't really worked out in her favor. But I tell you what, she was so good against the clean deal, I believe, in those SPOA tries. So this is one that's going to have every chance to bounce back, but definitely one that when I saw Doc in the paddock, he mentioned that she came along the best of the 3-year-old pacing fillies. But Lavender Sealster has been a big surprise, but PNG Shadow, she's got a lot of talent as well.
Talbot Beyonce, number 1, is conditioned by Zach Carroll. Now, he's based at Dorchester Downs in my neck of the woods. So, I got a chance to have a look at this one and talk 2, Zach. And, he was pretty high on this daughter of Bulldog Hanover. First foal from an unraced mare. I believe we've got James McDonald on the line here to talk about his charge in here. Staying away, James, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Just an initial assessment of this one on the track, how she's handling.
Yeah, she feels like a nice filly. I trained her for Tyler maybe, I don't know, and she seemed to do everything well, and good feeling. So hopefully she goes well today.
And quickly, from the ones you've qualified so far this morning, who's really impressed you the most?
Oh, there's been a it's just such an exciting time of year, Greg. I like to try and qualify them easy if I can, and let
All right, looks like we're having some technical difficulties there, but we appreciate James having a quick word with us. Back up to Mark McKelvey.
Thanks so much, Greg. All right, we just heard from James as he's on the outside of the gate there with the 8 Celia Shadow. We'll go back to the inside, though, to kick things off. 1 Talbot Beyonce, a Bulldog Hanover filly. And this one's trained by Zach Carroll, the driver Bob McClure. 2, Living Color, a Courtly Choice filly. Blake McIntosh, the trainer. Tyler Borth is in the sulky. This filly went through Harrisburg for $19,000 US. 3, Dundee's Victory, a Cattle Wash filly. Kyle Fellows, the trainer. Phil Houdon will drive. Dundee's Victory was a Harrisburg buyout for $35,000 US. 4, Baby Jane, Cattle Wash filly. Doug McNair for Greg McNair. Baby Jane, a yearling purchase from the Lexington Select Sale for $25,000 US. 5, I'm Here to Stay, is a daughter of Stay Hungry, homebred for Brad Grant. Scott McEnany trains, Trevor Henry steers. 6 is Following Sea, down by the Seaside filly, trained by Dr. Ian Moore. Louis Waugh will drive, and this filly came out of Harrisburg for $25,000 US. Number 7, Sting Away, a Perfect Sting filly for trainer Tony Beaton. Make the driver Mark McDonald, and this was a yearling buy from Lexington for $12,000 US. On the outside, number 8, Celia Shadow, trained by Tyler Moore, James McDonald in the bike, and this is a daughter of Cattle Wash, a homebred for RG McGroup Limited and Serge Savard. Field of 8 2-year-old pacing fillies are sent on their way as here we go. Qualifier number 7 kicks off with Following Sea making an early move out to the lead. Living Color with a good beginning towards the inside, and here comes Celia Shadow. She starts to push up on the outside, and then you will find Baby Jane, who is just to the outside of Dundee's Victory, followed by Talbot Beyonce, then to I'm Here to Stay, and the last one is Sting Away. As we're going into the first turn, it's Following Sea to the inside, about to give way as Celia Shadow will look to clear. They're by the opening panel in 30 and 4. So clearing to the top is Celia Shadow, and the Cattle Wash daughter is up top by 2 as we straighten into the backstretch. Following C in second, Living Color is third, couple lengths back to Baby Jane in fourth. 2 more lengths to Dundee's Victory, who is fifth, gap of 3 back to Talbot Beyonce, who's followed by I'm Here to Stay, and the last one in line is the daughter of Perfect Sting, that is Sting Away. As we near the midway point, the first to move, second from the back, underway for Trevor Henry, I'm Here to Stay. Your leader by 2 lengths is Celia Shadow in 101 and 2. Pacers will now enter the far turn, and Celia Shadow lets it out a notch and leads by 3. Second is Following C. Living Color is third. On the outside is Baby Jane for McNair fourth. Inside of that one, Dundee's Victory is fifth. Then back to I'm Here to Stay. 2 more lengths to Sting Away. And the last one is Talbot Beyonce. So up top, it is Celia Shadow, and she leads it by 3 lengths, coming to 3/4 in a time of 1:30 and 1. So she went the third quarter in 28 and 4, and she spins for home. It's Celia Shadow. Back in second is Following C. Baby Jane plugging along on the outside around that far turn, tries to battle into second. Here's I'm Here to Stay on the outside. Behind horses is Living Color. It's still Celia Shadow clear by 4. Coming to the edge of the tote board, Celia Shadow almost home. The daughter of Cattle Wash poised to get the qualifying victory. Finishing second, I'm Here to Stay. Third was Baby Jane. And fourth goes to Living Color. Good late kick from Sting Away. The mile time, 1:58 and 4 for Celia Shadow.
There's another big back half from Celia Shadow. Went right to the front and was strong throughout, John. You like to see horses passing others, but when they go to the front and they perform that way, that's not bad either.
Yeah, some greenness on the lead heading into that final turn. Obviously, I think going maybe inside a pylon or two, but James asking her for a little bit more, a couple of reminders, and she did the rest. She paced really, really well, so a nice showing by, like you said, the full sister to a P&G Shadow, but I thought a really nice effort by I'm Here to Stay as well, a good runner-up effort guided by Trevor Henry. A full sister to Staying with Emily. We know a homebred for Brad Grant as well, so we know that this is a family with lots of speed.
Yeah, top three, I think, all get high marks here. Baby Jane a long way out there and just picked off for second in the 58 and 4 mile. And the good news, I think, for the winner, obviously, that she won impressively. Good back half, final quarter speed. But there looks like there's a few little adjustments, few little things to work on, too.
Yeah, without a doubt, but that's exactly perfectly normal, right? Especially your first time getting a chance to qualify. I'm sure that Celia Shadow is going to be one that that's going to continue to improve. And, Tyler Moore, similar to his dad, right? Brings horses ready to race, and he wants them, but, aggressively handled in certain spots. And this is one that got a nice fitness mile under her belt and put forth a pretty good showing as well. So one to monitor.
And we know what Cattle Wash did and the impact he made last year with his first crop here in Ontario. And we're already seeing, his name just dotted all over these qualifying winners early on.
Yeah, it's hard not to be excited about what else we're going to see by Cattle Wash as well. Cattle Wash Bulldog, we've seen some pretty good talent in what was, their first crop. And just excited to see what we're going to get in the future. I know, obviously, that excites you a great deal, with the London sale each and every year as well.
Yes, exactly. You've got to put that hat on, and you're looking for siblings of ones that are entered in the sale this year. And I can tell you the catalog, we've got the roster up on the website now, londonclassic.ca, and it just seems to get a little stronger, a little deeper every year, and I would say that is the case again. So the fillies exit the track here. Pacers for qualifier number 7, back with Trotters when we return.
Harness Racing Update covers the sport from all the angles, with news, opinion, features, photography, and the most comprehensive racing, breeding, and sales stories in the game from around the globe. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. Plus, HRU's popular Twos in Training series on YouTube gives you the first look at the stars of tomorrow. And the best news? It's all free. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com.
Continuing with another group of pacers this time. So we're switching it up a little bit. Back-to-back pacing events as we welcome you to Woodbine Mohawk Park. Again, we want to extend a big thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors again this year. And they make this coverage possible. Thanks to Cujo Entertainment behind the scenes and Primetime Racing here on Game Plus and our various social media platforms. Hope you're enjoying the coverage today wherever you are watching around North America. We have, again, Philly Pacers on the track here for this upcoming contest, qualifier 8 of 12. And some high-profile youngsters in this contest, Susie's Beauty, the 7, and Always Be Mickey's sister, to 1 Crackshot. Just one of the best 3-year-old colt pacers in Ontario the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Jim Averett, obviously they breed a lot of really, well-bred horses. They typically like to, keep their fillies. I know that Naughty Beauty, obviously a brother, ended up, selling, and Andrew Harris trains that one. This is one that, Greg McNair referenced to a trot in that Twos in Training issues that this is one that, they named, after Greg's wife. So this is a really one that they would obviously love to have be a pretty good, and this is, obviously a sibling to even Blazing Bell. I know Crackshot's definitely the highlight, but Blazing Bell as well was a filly with a lot of speed.
Lions Flurry just inside of that one, a Better's Delight filly, sibling to a $500,000 winner. And one of the horses we'll see from the Anthony Beaton barn this morning. There's the aforementioned Susie's Beauty, big strapping filly. Kind of got a nice, easy way of going by the look of it. There's a Stay Hungry filly called the Legacy of Venues. And, or Venus, sorry, the Legacy of Venus. The old eyes are getting me, John, as they often do. Yeah, and this one, a daughter of Venus Delight. She was a $1.2 million winner. And a couple of Stay Hungries in the field. The other one's Fresh and Fit Hanover, the number 3. There's a stallion that maybe just a little bit underrated at this point in his career, but boy, he's produced a lot of good ones.
Yeah, he has a lot of good ones and a lot of fast ones as well. And, Brad Grant, again, this is a homebred of his. Scott McEnany's had the luxury of training a lot from this family, so the Legacy of Venus, definitely one that they should be intrigued with.
Another one there from the John Pentland stable. Bob McClure driving Jersey Bulldog. Filly, daughter of Galley Beach, making her a sibling to a trio of $100,000 plus winners. Reasonably priced yearling, $40,000 out of Harrisburg. There's Mark McDonald. He'll be on board the 5 You Are My Shadow for the Ian Moore stable. This one first foal from Ubiquitous Hanover, who is a sister to Uptown Hanover, a $912,000 winner. So pedigree potential on this one. Daughter of Shadow Play. Ian Moore, every year it seems he's got 1 or 2 shadow plays in the barn. A soft spot, and understandably so for him.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, he's always looking for a next home run there, anything with a shadow play, a bloodline. So let's see if You Are My Shadow can be that.
We've got Charlotte Cattle, the other one in the field that we haven't touched on yet. Maneri Racing sends out this one, $40,000 purchase out of Lexington. Cattle Wash filly from the Pondermare Final Decision, and there's a look at her. Has again the look that you see from the Cattle Wash. They all seem to be good sized. They've got a nice way of going. Pretty professional overall on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, and this is one that Dave Maneri is really excited about. Again, telling me that Two's in training and trot. He told me that right now he'd give this filly the nod as his favorite. So when I got a chance to speak with him in April, she's from the favorite Bob McIntosh family. The dam's a full sister to Thinking Out Loud. So, she's produced one racehorse, Lorraine J, from a couple of foals, but he's really intrigued, that this one, the mare got bred to Cattle Wash this year, and I think he's got plenty of reason to be intrigued with this filly.
Getting a final look there at Lions Flurry, the Bettor's Delight filly. Bettor's Delight filly winning impressively earlier in the program. We'll see if he can get a second winning credit here. As the gate begins to roll, they're assembling, and it looks like all 7, as scheduled, are lining up on the gate here. Good looking tilt coming up here. Back up to Mark with the call.
Thanks so much, Greg, as we are getting set now for the 8th qualifier. 1, the Legacy of Venus, is a daughter of Stay Hungry. Homebred for Brad Grant. Scott McEnany trains, Trevor Henry drives. 2 is Jersey Bulldog, a Bulldog Hanover filly for trainer John Pentland, driver Bob McClure. Jersey Bulldog came out of Harrisburg for $40,000 US. 3, Fresh and Fit Hanover, is a daughter of Stay Hungry. Francis Dumichel, the trainer. Tyler Jones is in the bike. A Harrisburg find for $13,000 US. Chevrolet Cattle is the 4. Cattle Wash filly for Dave Maneri and driver James McDonald. A Lexington selected yearling sale purchase for $40,000 US. 5, You Are My Shadow, is a shadow play filly. It's Mark McDonald for trainer Dr. Ian Moore. 6 is Lions Flurry, a Bettor's Delight filly. Tony Beaton trains, the driver's Louis Waugh. And this one came out of the Lexington selected yearling sale. $35,000 US was the price tag. On the outside, 7, Susie's Beauty is an Always Be Mickey filly, a homebred for Jim Averett. Greg McNair trains, the driver is Doug McNair. That's your field of 7 for today's 8th qualifier. 2-year-old pacing fillies in the hands of the starter. Starting gate gets to the top of the stretch, a field of 7. All 7. First timers here today. Qualifier number 8 picking up speed. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Pretty even beginning First two away, though, are going to be You Are My Shadow down the center, and to the inside, Fresh and Fit Hanover. Here comes Susie's Beauty now, and she is going to push on the outside. Meanwhile, Lions Flurry was able to shoot up a spot, will settle into fourth in front of Cheryl Cattle, then going back to the Legacy of Venus, and the last one, Jersey Bulldog. Susie's Beauty from the outside starting spot gets out to the lead, and this daughter of Always Be Mickey is up top by 2.5 lengths. She'll post an opening panel of 32 and 1. It is Susie's Beauty and Doug McNair. They'll straighten them into the backstretch by 2. You Are My Shadow, the daughter's Shadow Play in second, followed by the Stay Hungry filly, Fresh and Fit Hanover in third. Fourth is the daughter of Better's Delight, Lions Flurry. She's being followed by the Cattle Wash filly, Cheryl Cattle. Then going back to the Stay Hungry filly, the Legacy of Venus, and 2 more lengths back to the daughter of Bulldog Hanover, Jersey Bulldog. She's the trailer. She can see them all just about 10 lengths off the lead. It is Susie's Beauty. Opening panel was 32 and 1, the half 103 and 4, and the pacing fillies continue single file order onto the far bend. You Are My Shadow getting a 2-hole trip, trying to stick close to the leader, now 2 lengths away. Fresh and Fit Hanover is right behind it, near its rival in third. Fourth is Lions Flurry. Fifth remains Cheryl Cattle. Off the rail comes the Legacy of Venus, and 2 more lengths to Jersey Bulldog. So Susie's Beauty with a lead of 2 lengths, and You Are My Shadow will try to come close there off the turn in 3/4 of time, 1:33 and 4, 30 seconds even in the third panel into the stretch, and You Are My Shadow was certainly ready to go, so it'll square off here with Susie's Beauty. The fillies side by side, taking the lead as You Are My Shadow, behind horses Fresh and Fit Hanover. Here's the Legacy of Venus rallying on the outside, 16th to go. You Are My Shadow with the lead, and the Legacy of Venus gets unleashed. And check out the Stay Hungry filly, she's up to win it. The Legacy of Venus, You Are My Shadow was second, Fresh and Fit Hanover was third, and finishing fourth was Cheryl Cattle, 202 and 1 for the Legacy of Venus.
Well, off a very moderate half of 3 and 4, the fillies, as you would expect, really sprinting on the end of it, and the complexion changed from the top of the stretch in pretty dramatically halfway down the stretch. You Are My Shadow off the pocket trip delivered a really good effort, but an eye-catching rally from the Legacy of Venus. That's a big late kick to go by fillies that were sprinting hard.
Another really good showing by Scott McEnany, youngster, and when I got a chance to speak with him about several of his 2-year-olds, he mentioned that he's never been more excited about his 2-year-old crop coming into this season. And I know, he said, I know a lot of times a lot of trainers have a tendency to say that, but he said, no, I'm really, really excited. And if this morning is any indication of what could be this season, I mean, he's got plenty of reason to be definitely very excited. I'm not going to say small, but not a big filly, but a big engine, as we could see there. What a day for Trevor Henry, his 4th winner of the morning session. Trev's got to be excited about his prospects going into pari-mutuel action off of these races. We talked about Stay Hungry, a 1-3 finish, just missed finishing second. And I think we even have to mention the 4th place finisher, Cheryl Cattle. We could see on the close-up after the race, this one finishing right up on helmets and had all kinds in the tank. Like I said, the James McDonald way, he wants to keep these horses sharp. So I think Dave Maneri's got to be pretty pleased, with his starter so far. And, speaking of Trevor, though, he obviously got the opportunity to go to Florida to get a chance to sit behind and train a lot of these babies for Scott McEnany. So this probably isn't his first time getting a chance to sit behind some of them, and he probably has plenty of reason to be excited for what's at stake this summer as well.
Yeah, Trevor at that point in his career where he has the luxury of doing that, it's a pretty nice game plan, isn't it? Spend your winter in Florida, identify these horses, get to know them, and then show up here, and he'll be getting to sit behind a few of them, of course, in stakes action in the not-too-distant future.
And, of course, him and Shannon speaking about that openly in that most recent, Trot feature as well, talking about how he is going to likely take a break in the winter months, go to Florida, break some babies, just kind of focus on the winters there and, hopefully get ready for what's going to be a busy and successful summer in the coming years.
So we are well underway now with the back half of this morning's baby race session here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Time for another break. Back on the trot when we return.
The rolling fields of Lucan, Ontario, right to the winner's circle. Sealster Farms has been making an impact across harness racing since 1969. Today, The Sealster roster is headlined by the world's fastest standardbred, the amazing Bulldog Hanover. 145-4, Horse of the Year in Canada and the US. Bulldog Hanover is already the sire of multiple Grand Circuit winners, including Grade 1 winning filly, She's a Bulldog. The Sealster lineup also includes All Bets Off, Big Jim, and Century Pharaoh. To learn more about the Sealster team, visit sealsterfarms.com.
We resume with our coverage of the Rookie Showcase, welcoming you back to Woodbine Mohawk Park. John, just as we were wrapping up that last race, you referenced a Trot Magazine article. We should remind folks that your primary role, we see, of course, in the broadcasts here from time to time in the Meadowlands, but is with Trot Magazine. Tell us a bit about your role there and what you do.
Yeah, a few years ago, I've been lucky to get taken a chance on by a few people in this industry. Dan Fisher was the first guy to take a chance on me, a pretty green writer and a pretty green in terms of horse lingo. Was able to learn a lot from a multitude of people who have kind of, taught me things, led by Dan Fisher. But for me, trot is kind of useful in so many settings, especially doing this show as well, though, Greg. I mean, the Twos in Training issue, something we get a chance to do every year in April. We get to see these 2-year-olds for the first time right now. Obviously baby race, but I get a chance to hear about them and we get a chance to talk about them before they even step foot on the racetrack for the Twos in Training feature. So, I mean, I heard about the likes of Bojangles, Stockade Sealster, Motorcon Legacy. It's a love thing. These were all 2-year-olds that we discovered and got talked about before, and what did they end up doing on the races. So it's always cool to hear about a handful of them and hear their story and watch how they progress as their careers go on.
And for every facet of the business, there's a different reason for following the babies and being so interested in their eventual debut on the racetrack. Again, talking about going all the way back to last fall in the yearling sale. When these horses get sold, then you're scouring the entries and you're looking. You want to see, how many of them are ready to go and emerge. And we've seen so many of them do special things on the track. I can't even imagine what it's like for the breeders. But of course, the buyers, the ones that paid the money and bought those horses, they're obviously the most excited to see them get here and see what they can do. And some really high-profile youngsters in here. We talked about 6-figure yearling prospects. We've got a couple of hefty-priced yearlings going to the post in this one, and they're going to leave right beside each other. Swinging Chandelier, we did see her in action last week. $375,000 Harrisburg purchase. And then Social Hour, the outside post here, a $500,000 purchase out of Lexington for Team Backs, a sibling to the speedy high-end trotter Walner Payton.
And Matt Bax referencing about this filly to me that she's a little bit on the smaller size, but that was the same way with Walner Payton. She was a little small, but she was so fast. She had a clean gait and she had a lot of speed. So I think they're hoping for exactly that with the Social Hour. So he's loved the way that she's been training. He references her as being at the front of the pack. So let's see what she can do this morning.
She, again, outside of Swinging Chandelier, one of two for Luke Blay and Determination. Here's the other one, the Forbidden Trade filly Dream Trade. Dream Mating, we called it last week. Forbidden Trade, Dream Together, the ultimate homebred for that group. And both of these fillies just kind of went around last week, just got a mile under them. I expect them to step up here today.
Yeah, we kind of see that from Luke Blay trainees, but you can almost name this filly a dream team, right? I mean, Forbidden Trade as well as Dream Together, Bob McClure guiding both of them to some big victories. Dream Together getting a chance, Bob guiding her to a victory, I believe, in the Steel on Hambo Day in one of those years at odds of 50-1 over what was a uber-talented group of trotting mares, maybe one of the best group of trotting mares ever assembled. So a really, really good showing by her. She was a really talented trotting mare, and of course Forbidden Trade, we know exactly what he did. But Luke Blay, though, Greg, I don't think he puts an emphasis on the qualifiers. He doesn't care if they go overly fast. We've seen that with the Motocon Legacy. He'll qualify in 1:58 and he'll be ready to go in 52. It's not an issue for determination and Luke Blay.
You're exactly right. And let's talk about Forbidden Trade. If I recall correctly, he had a qualifier before the Hambletonian and got beat, or certainly didn't go a very flashy time at all. It was just kind of a maintenance go around, and look what he ultimately did. And you know, Bob McClure reunited here with him with that offspring of that horse, and it was really probably that horse and the teaming up with Determination and Luke that really helped put Bob on the map in a big, big way. So excited to see what they're going to do here. Back up to Mark with the description of the upcoming trotting event here in Race 9.
So here is the field, inside out, for this 9th qualifier. One is 9-5. Daughter Captain Corey. Rick Ziron trains. Trevor Henry, who's had the hot hands today, is in the bike. A $42,000 U.S. purchase out of Harrisburg. 2 is Dynamica, a muscle mass filly for Eric Nadeau and Louis Waugh. This was a $90,000 London Classic yearling sale purchase. 3, Georgia Bluffs, make the driver Damian McClellan for trainer Kyle Fellows. King of the North filly was purchased at Lexington for $42,000 U.S. 4, Don't Mind My Mass, is a muscle mass filly trained by Paul Cameron. Mark McDonald is in the bike. $14,000 London Classic purchase. 5, Tit for Tat is a King of the North daughter for Paul Reed, Scott Young steers. This one comes out of Harrisburg for $20,000 U.S. 6, Fleetwood Dancers, a Green Manalishi filly for trainer Greg McNair. Doug McNair in the bike, and Fleetwood Dancer. She was a Lexington Select yearling sale purchase for $40,000 U.S. 7 is Dream Trade, a homebred for Determination, daughter of Forbidden Trade, trained by Luke Blay, driven by Bob McClure. 7, that was Dream Trade. So on to 8, Swinging Chandelier, Chapter 7 filly. Luke Blay again for Determination. Tyler Jones will drive, and this was a Harrisburg purchase for $375,000 U.S. And on the outside, 9 is Social Hour. Matt Bax trains and drives a Walner filly, also a big price tag, a $500,000 U.S. purchase from the Lexington Selected yearling sale. Field of 9, 2-year-old trotting fillies for the 9th are sent on their way. And there goes Dream Trade, shooting from post 7 for McClure. She's out to the early lead. Social Hour, who was quite pumped up before things got underway, is going to drive ahead into 2nd. Swinging Chandelier, want to follow her stablemate. She's up into 3rd. Getting away 4th was Tit for Tat, and off stride went Don't Mind My Mass. That'll see a few others then be able to advance up a position, including Fleetwood Dancer in mid-pack. That one will be tracked into the turn by Dynamica. Then back to 9-5. Behind that one is Georgia Bluffs. And resetting was the early breaker, Don't Mind My Mass. 33 seconds was the opening panel. So set on getting the lead here was Dream Trade. And Dream Trade is up top by 2. 2nd is Social Hour. Then in 3rd is Swinging Chandelier. Gap of 5 lengths then back to Tit for Tat, who is racing along in 4th. She's followed by Fleetwood Dancer. Then to Dynamica, who is going to be followed by 9-5, and Georgia Bluffs, the last one in your screen. And then it's about 8 more lengths back to that first quarter breaker, Don't Mind My Mass. Dream Trade, Social Hour, Swinging Chandelier. It's a 3-horse breakaway up to the half in 1:03.2. Second quarter was significantly quicker than that first split. They went 33 seconds, then 30-2. It is Dream Trade, the regally bred daughter of Forbidden Trade, out of the Muscle Haas mare Dream Together. A length and a half advantage on Social Hour, the daughter of Walner, a $500,000 yearling buy. In 3rd is Swinging Chandelier, the Chapter 7 filly, 3.5 off the top. 4th is Tit for Tat, then back to Fleetwood Dancer, to Dynamica, followed by Georgia Bluffs. Getting back into the mix, that was Don't Mind My Mass, and we did have a breaker around the far turn as we're into the lane off 3 quarters in 1:33.4. It is Dream Trade having to contend with Social Hour. How about Social Hour here on the outside trying to get on by? Dream Trade, Social Hour, short advantage for that one on the outside. Swinging Chandelier is 3rd. Coming up on the outside, Fleetwood Dancer into 4th, but it is Social Hour. Social Hour is going to win this one. Finishing 2nd was Dream Trade. 3rd went to Swinging Chandelier. It was Fleetwood Dancer over Tit for Tat for 4th. The mile time, 2:02.2. Social Hour, the daughter of Walner, a winning debut for trainer-driver Matt Bax. And gentlemen, if you got your eyes on this one pre-race, this one was a handful for Matt Bax all over the place, even into the infield. But when it got down to business, a nice effort.
Yeah, and even in the first turn, Mark, the horse appeared to have some steering issues. They weren't going very fast, and I would chalk it up to greenness. But there's talent there for sure, and there's power. That's what gets me. This is a powerful gate. And you can see, look at the power generated on the back end there. Good effort from both of the Luke Blais trainees as well. And what a difference a week makes. They raced from just the back and kind of went around last week. Both put into play this time.
Yeah, again, a completely different approach and not something that we haven't seen from young horses that Luke Blais sends out to qualify. Both took another step forward, and I wouldn't even say last week was a bad. You couldn't even classify it as a bad effort. It was just an experience effort for them in that morning. But I tell you what, Social Hour, we see Matt Bax obviously get a chance to sit behind some of his youngsters. Just kind of wants to get a feel to know if he needs to maybe change anything. And there we can see that filly again. Maybe a touch on the small size, but we saw that nice clean gait and that nice clean stride. So I think it's a pretty good, showing an indication that she left out so seamlessly from post number 9, was able to go by another filly in the stretch and do it with relative ease. So I think they've got, I know big ticket purchase, but they've got plenty of reason to be excited about Social Hour.
Yeah, for sure. So the big ticket fillies show up here this morning in this qualifying event, first and third with the homebred Dream Trade finishing right in between them. And nice trot in the end from the Green Manalishi filly Fleetwood Dancer, who picks up fourth and was best of the rest in this group.
Yep, really good effort by her. And I tell you what, Swinging Chandelier, we talked about, Social Hour being related to a pretty good family. You touched on it even last week, Swinging Chandelier, being related to the likes of a $100 bill, Slay as well, and Royal Mission. So a really, really talented family and a nice step forward here today for this filly.
With the production record on the dam side, it just makes sense. That's why you have to pay almost $400,000. But the residual value, the built-in potential broodmare value down the road helps a little bit in that regard. But a little bit out of our price range.
I would say a touch.
Well, I shouldn't speak for you, maybe.
No, I probably need a few multi-legs to purchase a filly like that.
All right, and there she is coming back. The highly regarded Lass getting it done for Matt Bax. So I'm sure happy with that, happy with the result. And, probably you'll find some little things that he'll want to work on and get ready. And will be interesting to see if she goes again or if she drops into race when the first pari-mutuel event comes up. Time for another break. Back with more in a moment.
Hanover's Bertha to Bulldog Hanover. From Shepherd to Simpson to Williams. Hanover Shoe Farms, celebrating 100 years as the greatest name in harness racing.
Join us this August on Prince Edward Island for the Gold Cup and Saucer, presented by Atlantic Lottery. Visit redshores.ca for more details.
9 races in the books and 3 more left to go. For those just tuning in, we want to welcome you to our baby race coverage here. It is the Rookie Showcase, weekend number 2 here on Primetime TV. And available today on Game Plus and all of our social media platforms. Craig Blanchard and John Rallis trackside here. We've got the best seat in the house. Got a couple of nice Muskoka chairs just off camera here, and those are good vantage points as well. Beautiful day for qualifying. In fact, as we've been here, John, it's kind of cooled off a little bit, become a little more comfortable. We were worried at one point it was just going to keep the mercury would keep rising here, and would be sweltering at this point in time. So it's actually just turned into a picture-perfect morning. And these youngsters putting on a pretty good show for us so far. In here, some interesting prospects to look at. Let's go all the way out to post 7, and that's Tenacious, a Bulldog Hanover filly from the great producing mare Lady Be Great.
Yeah, she's produced some really, really talented horses. Obviously produced, Anavan as well as Great Ascending. Anavan, a really, really fast horse. We remember seeing him win some marquee races for Luke Blais Determination. And, of course, Great Ascending, he really kicked off his career in a pretty big way, to kick things off. So hopefully this daughter of Bulldog Hanover can do the same.
Yeah, Ian Moore had greatest ending at one point in his career, raced, I believe, in the Little Brown Jug eliminations for him at the time. So he knows the family well. En Avant, one of the most talented pacers we had seen here, I think, in a long time. Kind of a spotty career, had, I think, some issues that just kept him away from realizing his full potential. He was a big horse and a lot of size in the family, greatest ending, same scenario. So this daughter of Bulldog Hanover, a lot of pedigree potential. She was a $125,000 Harrisburg yearling purchase. And there's a look at her now. Yeah, just kind of a nice size filly. Not nearly as big as the older siblings, at least at this point. And they're probably hoping she doesn't quite grow that much and put on that much size. Just inside of her, we've got a cattle wash filly, Ace and 10, second foal from Dreamin' Girl for Team McNair. They've had a good day so far. And another good-looking Bulldog Hanover filly from Post 5. Her name's Bulldog Hanover from a terrific hard-hitting mare that raced here, Sly Eleanor.
It didn't matter which barn she was in, Sly Eleanor. She always put forth a really, really good effort. And as you mentioned, just tough and fast. And, ended her career, I believe, in in Brad Grant's care. And, just ended up, let's see if she can become a pretty good brood mare here. But I always enjoyed watching Sly Eleanor compete.
We've got a quartet of Bulldog Hanover fillies in this group, a pair of cattle wash, and then we've got one control the moment in this moment for Zach Carroll, the second that he'll be unveiling this morning from the Big Jim mare Amulet Sealster. And another one that reports in talking to Zach, training good and had a good winter down there. And typically when you see them show up in the first week or two for qualifiers, it's obvious they did have a good winter and train down without too many bumps along the way.
Yeah, he does a really good job, training young horses and breaking young horses as well. And hopefully he can bring a couple along that, have some success at the races. He's trained some pretty fast horses over the past a few years, and let's see if in this moment can be just that.
There's a look at her on camera, makes a nice pre-race appearance. The starting gate in the backstretch now and is pulling up into position. I'm just taking a quick glance, and it does look like all 7, as scheduled, are on track and moving up to the starting gate. Mark McKelvey, standing by, has your call next.
Here we go, the 10th qualifier. Thanks so much, Greg and John, as the gate begins to crawl right along. 2-year-old pacing fillies to take their positions. Number 1, Love My Frenchie. It's James McDonald, driving the daughter of Bulldog Hanover for trainer Dave Maneri. Love My Frenchie, a Harrisburg purchase for $30,000 US. 2, In This Moment, a Control the Moment filly, a homebred for Zach Carroll, who trains Bob McClure in the bike. 3, London Dry, a Bulldog Hanover filly. It's Mark McDonald for trainer Tony Beaton. Bulldog Hanover filly brought $22,000 US at Harrisburg. 4, Side Dish, a cattle wash filly, Tyler Borth for Blake McIntosh. This cattle wash filly went through the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale for $25,000 US. 5 is Sly Georgia, a Bulldog Hanover filly, homebred for Brad Grant. Scott McEnany trains, Trevor Henry steers. 6 is Ace and a 10, a cattle wash filly for Greg McNair. The driver is Doug McNair, and this was a London Classic purchase for $70,000. And 7 is Tenacious, Bulldog Hanover filly, trained by Dr. Ian Moore. Louis Waugh will do the driving, and this Bulldog Hanover filly brought $125,000 US at the Harrisburg Yearling Sale. So it's a field of 7 lined up for our 10th of 12 on this Thursday morning. As we start to move into the final stages of today's qualifying action, it's another busy morning coming up tomorrow. Got to see the girls here today. It'll be the boys' turn tomorrow. 11 baby races scheduled. So here we go with the 10th. As the starting gate swings into the lane. Love My Frenchie In This Moment. London Dry, Side Dish, Sly Georgia, Ace and a 10, Tenacious on the outside. Here they come. And they're off and pacing. From post 2, In This Moment gets the first call. McNair has Ace and a 10 pushing on forward. From the far outside is Tenacious, and splitting between rivals will be Side Dish. The rail starter, Love My Frenchie, got away in 5th. Then to London Dry 6th, and 7th will be Sly Georgia. She can see them all as they get into the first turn. With the top spot, this is Ace and a 10. Ace and a 10 by 2.5 lengths up to the opening quarter. It'll be recorded in a time of 31-3. Ace and a 10 moves to the backstretch. She's a daughter of Cattle Wash, a 2.5 length advantage on the Control the Moment filly in this moment. Racing in third, a daughter of Cattle Wash in Side Dish. She's tracked by a Bulldog Hanover filly and Love My Frenchie fourth. Fifth, you will find another Bulldog Hanover filly in Tenacious. Then sixth, that'll be another Bulldog Hanover filly, London Dry. The last one of them all, the Bulldog Hanover daughter, Sly, Georgia. So the world's fastest standardbred, well represented here in this 10th qualifier. Up front, though, it's the Cattle Wash daughter, Ace and a 10, to the half in 101-2. She paced the second quarter in 29-4. Ace and a 10 onto the far bend, leading it by 6. Second in this moment. Racing in third is Side Dish. Fourth, you'll find Love My Frenchie. Then in fifth is Tenacious. Sixth around the far bend is London Dry. And coming to the outside is Sly, Georgia. But all alone up front is Ace and a 10. And she's looking to put in a big effort here in her qualifying debut at 3 quarters in 131-2. So that third panel in 30 seconds, 59-4 middle half. She swings for home. Ace and a 10, clear by 8. Back in second in this moment. Inside third, that is Side Dish. On the outside is Sly, Georgia. Behind horses is Love My Frenchie. Ace and a 10. McNair keeping her to task, and she looks to close it out. Almost home. Ace and a 10. The Cattle Wash filly will score. Finishing second, Sly, Georgia, with a good final quarter kick. In this moment was third, and finishing in fourth, that was Side Dish. The mile time, 2 minutes and a fifth.
Ace and a 10 sets all the tempo and sprints home at 58-4 to get it done here for Team McNair in her first trip postward behind the starting gate. Second full from the He's Watching mare Dreamin' Girl. Laying down splits of 31-3, 101-2, 131-2, and then kicks home in 28-4. So widened the advantage, drifted a little bit in the home stretch though. So hard to know what would cause that or what they could work on for next week. But I'm sure they'll want her just to be a little bit straighter and a little more straightforward next time out. But the talent is there, and yet another daughter of Cattle Wash coming through.
Yeah, I thought she was nearly picture perfect. Of course, appropriately named after my favorite hand at my favorite card table there. Anytime you get Ace 10 playing blackjack, and this is one that raced really, really well here in the morning. A good effort by her, I thought. Another really good effort there by Sly, Georgia, though. Another Trevor Henry driven, youngster, trained by Scott McEnany, bred and owned by Brad Grant. I think they have to be ultra elated with what they've seen this morning.
She came from a long way back.
Yeah, she did. So really, really good showing by, this, combination. And again, I think they've got plenty of reason to be excited.
Yeah. And in this moment, she was up attending the pace, and it looked like she was going to get passed by a few, and then kind of re-engaged and rallied and held on for third. So Connections would be happy there. And Side Dish closed kind of sneaky good, I thought, in finishing fourth there. And that's the thing here this morning. Let's not just get focused on the top couple. You got to read between the lines a little bit. We'll see a lot change from week to week. We've got 2 left to go, race 11, when we come back.
Well, the moment is here, and the time is now as we get set for one of the biggest races on Canadian soil. It's the Pepsi North America Cup, $1 million on the line. We have a perfect start, and away they go.
Welcome back. We are down to our final 2 races here this morning as we present the Rookie Showcase to you. We're in Campbellville, Ontario. And the showplace of Canadian harness racing, Woodbine Mohawk Park, of course, the scene this Saturday night of the $1 million Pepsi North America Cup and a powerful undercard. Such a fun time of year with races like that, the baby races. The Stanley Cup playoffs are going. The Blue Jays, they're a little frustrating right now, but they're going. And then how about that basketball game last night? What a finish! And New York had to be crazy today after that.
It is booming, and they love their Knicks there, but it was looking pretty dreadful there for a long period of time. I can't believe the Spurs ended up choking that 29-point lead. The biggest comeback in NBA Finals history. I think the Spurs are going to have every chance to bounce back at home in Game 5. If anyone can come back down 3-1, though, I do think it's the Spurs, even if they are a pretty young team. I do think there's a lot of talent, but that's 2 games that they've blown. They could very well be up 3-1 in this series.
Yeah, if you're a sport fan and particularly a horse racing fan, it just doesn't get any better. Probably starts in May, right, with the Kentucky Derby, maybe in April. I'll go back to the Masters. When the Masters hits, then it's just a fun ride for the next 2-3 months and into the heart of stake season, of course. And today we're getting our first glimpse of young horses that we very likely will see at least some of them competing in those big stakes a little bit later on this summer. And so many of them, the high-profile 2-year-old races right here at Mohawk.
Look at the contingent of talent that we've gotten a chance to kind of tout and obviously broadcast throughout North America over the last few years. Ontario side, a lot of talent, superstar talent here in our provincial program. We're very fortunate to be able to display and breed the level of talent that we have. And, again, I think we're going to see some more from this group today showcase themselves and, just be exactly that.
Blake McIntosh just stopping by here, having a look at Queen G. Wanted just to refresh the yearling price, $300,000 at Harrisburg. Said he just couldn't quite pull the trigger for that kind of money, but he was in the bidding, of course, and understandably so, right? This is the King of the North sister to his Mona Lishi, a millionaire.
Yeah, and again, what a career that she's had, and it's still going. Really has put forth good efforts over her last few, and Blake McIntosh hoping for another signature victory this weekend in the Armbro Flight. She drew pretty well. Jody Jameson's going to pick up the drive, so she's coming into that race pretty sharp, and if she works out a pretty good trip, she's going to be heard from late.
She took on the boys, I think, last week, right? An open company and raced really well, I thought. Perfect sort of setup or tune-up race for the big dance this Saturday. Queen G, and this one bred by Shmuel Fari of London, Ontario. And his operation starting to make a big splash in the breeding game. And sell a lot of their horses down in Lexington. I believe some in Harrisburg. So this one, $300,000 yearling with the pedigree, obviously, to support that. Stocks and Bonds toward the outside has some interesting lineage as well.
Yeah, the dam is, or Peaceful Way, the Grand Dam of the Dam Peaceful Mission. So really some superstar pedigree there. And, 6-figure yearling purchase. And this is one that I'm sure that, Rick Zeron is going to be awfully excited here to debut.
We've got 2 fillies that are back for a second consecutive week. One of them made a miscue last time, Romalie Armitage for Gino Toscani. So hard to really get a read on the effort there. Hopefully she'll mind her manners and to bounce back here this morning. Elegant Green, the Green Manalishi filly, a $65,000 London Classic purchase. She was one of those last week that was 4th, but that was a good 4th. One of the fastest trotting miles of the morning, and had 28-2 individual final quarter speed. I'm sure the connections were happy, and it'll be, I think we're watching to see, can she step forward off of that and take maybe a step up, a second or two in the time department.
Yeah, and you know what, Derek Nadeau and the Louis Wa, teaming up, training, driving, and co-ownership roles, having success here with some trotting fillies, obviously specifically being Exquisite Taste, who had success here provincially, has continued to success in the U.S. I believe Pat LaChan's doing the driving training for her, so these two have hooked up and had some success with trotting fillies, and maybe the same can be said here with Elegant Green.
Diamond of the North, King of the North filly, bred by Erna and Blair Corbeil. They retain part of the ownership here with Yolanda Fellows and Peter Porter, King of the North filly from the good producer Lady Bling. another one to have a look at here in qualifier number 11. 2-year-old filly trotters again this time. Back upstairs to Mark.
Thanks, Greg. Here we go for the 11th, the penultimate qualifier on this Thursday. One is Queen G, a King of the North filly. Luke Blay trains. The driver is Bob McClure, and she was a Harrisburg purchase for $300,000 US. 2, Roma Lee Armitage. Gino Toscani trains and drives the daughter of Wallner. Got this one out of Lexington for $22,000 US. 3, Perfect Loop, daughter of King of the North. Matt Bax trains. James McDonald will drive. She was a $45,000 US buy out of Harrisburg. 4, Our Rosie, Muscle Mass filly. Greg McNair trains. The driver is Doug McNair, a homebred for Tom and Elizabeth Rankin. 5 is Diamond of the North, King of the North filly, trained by Kyle Fellows. Make the driver Damian McClellan, a London Classic purchase for $70,000. 6 is Elegant Green. This is a daughter of Green Manalishi. Eric Nadeau trains. Louis Waugh is in the bike. This one out of the London Classic for $65,000. 7, Canadian Queen. Paul Cameron trains. Mark McDonald drives. King of the North filly was a $30,000 London Classic purchase. And 8 is Stocks and Bonds, a Chapter 7 filly for trainer Rick Zeron. The driver is Trevor Henry. Stocks and Bonds was a Harrisburg purchase for $130,000 US. Starting gate moves into the stretch. A field of 8 2-year-old trotting fillies for race number 11. And they're off and trotting. A pretty even beginning here. We'll see which fillies emerge up at the front. Looks like it's going to be Our Rosie and Elegant Green as they step out. 1-2. Perfect Loop is between rivals there, third for the time being. As here comes Canadian Queen, and she's starting to step her way into that forward mix. Roma Lee Armitage is just holding ground at the rail. Then we're going back to Diamond of the North, who is spotted in front of Stocks and Bonds. And the last one, as we get to that opening quarter, is going to be Queen G. 32-2, the opening panel. Trotting fillies are into the backstretch with Elegant Green the leader. She is being stalked closely by Our Rosie in second, and Canadian Queen is 4 lengths off the lead in third. Trying to close the gap in fourth is Roma Lee Armitage, who is followed then fifth by Perfect Loop. 2 lengths then back to Diamond of the North, who is going to be tracked by Stocks and Bonds, and the last one continues to be Queen G. So the field of 8 nears the half. Elegant Green, daughter of Green Manalishi, to the half in 104-3. Second quarter was trotted in 32-1. Elegant Green does lead it by a pair. Our Rosie is second. Canadian Queen is third. Fourth for the time being is Roma Lee Armitage, as Stocks and Bonds got the cue to go. 5/8 of the mile now completed. Stocks and Bonds, our first big mover. She's rising. Then on the outside as well underway is Diamond of the North. Inside, Perfect Loop now starts to come off the rail. The last one is Queen G. And up front, making a break was Elegant Green. Elegant Green, the leader, went off stride. 134-3 was the 3/4 time. So the tempo had increased around the far turn. With the top spot now is Our Rosie. Here is Canadian Queen on the outside second. Diamond of the North is trotted up into third. Just to that one's left is Stocks and Bonds, and Perfect Loop might have a good final 16th as she's shown clear racetrack, but the battle's on for the victory. Our Rosie, Canadian Queen on the outside. Our Rosie holds on. Canadian Queen was second. Stocks and Bonds was third, and Perfect Loop got fourth in 2:03-3.
And it came down to a 2-horse breakaway as the pace setter Elegant Green jumped it off, turning for home. Our Rosie inherits the lead and holds off a determined Canadian Queen, who chased all the way to the end. High marks to Our Rosie for fighting her off. High marks for Canadian Queen for not losing interest.
Yeah, a nice effort there by Our Rosie. Of course, this is the third foal out of that dam. The first two being Arno Mercy and Barbara May, two of which Doug is obviously very familiar with and has gotten a chance to sit behind plenty. So a nice effort by there. She inherited the lead after Elegant Green jumped it off. She looked pretty sharp before that miscue. Hopefully she can bounce back next time out.
And Trevor Henry was sneaking up the inside late with another Rick Zeron trainee, Stocks and Bonds, the aforementioned granddaughter of the great Peaceful Way, with Perfect Loop rounding out the top 4 for Team Bax. There's a look at our Rosie Muscle Mass filly, 203 and 3, 29 second speed on the end of it, and a nice professional demeanor to her as we see her head back to the paddock for a well-deserved bath and trip back home.
Yeah, and you know what? Some fun by Doug McNair there, a little bit of a whip drag as they approach the wire. So guys are still having fun here in the mornings, qualifying horses every reason. This is also a competitive sport, but also a fun one, and I think plenty of guys should have plenty of reason to have fun, especially on these next couple of days, especially this weekend.
Yeah, the guys are, there's still that little bit of competitiveness in them. They'd be joking, but there would be a bit of competitive nature there as well.
Yeah, we see a lot of trainers get upset if they don't win a qualifying effort. I know drivers, evaluate qualifiers a lot differently, but we know a lot of trainers here locally that they want to win every single race, whether it goes for purse money or not.
So there is the winner coming back, and it looks like Team McNair has another nice one on their hands, as we are just going to get ready to take our final break here. So we've got one more to go, winding down our coverage on day one of the second weekend of the Rookie Showcase, the baby races here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Another group of pacing fillies on the other side.
Hanover's Bertha to Bulldog Hanover. From Shepherd to Simpson to Williams. Hanover Shoe Farms, celebrating 100 years as the greatest name in harness racing.
Congratulations to everyone who purchased yearlings at our sale last year. Standardbred Horse Sales Company is excited to watch your 2-year-olds train, and we wish you the best of luck at the races. We look forward to seeing more future champions. We'll see you November 2nd through the 6th in Harrisburg, as once again we will be offering 3 days of the sport's top yearlings as well as the #1 mixed sale in the industry. Don't miss it. See you in Harrisburg.
We are back one final time here this morning, and again we want to thank all of our valued sponsors here today. You see them listed at the bottom of the screen. And among them, Brandon Arsenault, who is going to send one postward in here. John, the name is Cupcakes on Tuesday.
Yeah, and this is one that I believe was hip number 900. And, Brandon Arsenault, obviously, very, very hard worker, but a very likable guy for a good reason. And it'd be nice to see his filly here have some success here in the morning. But Brett Wright joking around saying that, maybe Brandon thought that they were buying 900 or they were supposed to buy $8.99, just having some good banter there. But Cupcakes on Tuesday, definitely, one that we want to see a good showing from without a doubt.
And there's a story there behind the name. Apparently Brandon was bringing, it's now a tradition, brings the cupcakes to the win-back consignment on Tuesday, specifically on Tuesday. I don't know what the relevance is, but I'm sure they're glad to see the cupcakes coming each time. And we'll see how this one does. Cattle Wash filly from Kim's the Best, a better than Cheddar mare. We got another high-priced yearling going to the post here. Rockin' Jade Deo, the Captain Treacherous filly. Another one of those from the Luke Blay barn who raced last week. Was taken to the back, raced ultra-conservatively, did show good final quarter speed. Expecting this one to drop time substantially today.
I know she never picked up a position, but I still thought that she was pacing, a lot better than maybe the line indicates. But you mentioned who this is a sibling to last week, obviously Rocket Dale. We know how fast of a filly and how fast and tough of a mare she was. So there's a reason that she was a big-time six-figure purchase, and I'm excited to see Rockin' J. Deo in qualifier number 2 here.
Beachside Caroline, the 2, is a Poppy Rob Hanover filly. She qualified last week for Conditioner Blay as well. 5th by 4, 28-1 final quarter speed, individually clocked in 59-3. Going next there to Waves of Fortune, Better's Delight filly, the prolific stallion Better's Delight, and still sending out winners. We've seen a couple of his look very impressive already today.
Yeah, and you know what? This is one that Tony Beaton has had a lot of success here training the family. I know that he co-owns along with Elisa and David Mercer. And Tony and David have actually teamed up and owned another filly who had some success. Obviously, that being a Better Single. So similar yearling price purchase as Waves of Fortune, so they're hoping for some similar success with the starter of Better's Delight.
Here's one that I was looking forward to watch today. I remember this really nice-looking filly last year at our sale. Twin Beak Copacabana, $90,000 purchase. Anthony Beaton trains for the Copacabana stable of Waterdown. Cattle wash mare from the good producing sports writer mare Lovely Aaron. I'm Sweet on Lou, number 6 in the field, is a Sweet Lou from a Some Beach Somewhere mare, and Kyle Fellows trains this one. I believe Doug McNair is going to be driving. A Better Dog is the 7. That's a Bulldog Hanover. McEnany and Trevor Henry team up again. Good day at the office for them. And we've got a sibling to a high-profile horse in Post 8.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously Better Dog, though this is going to be the first foal out of She's None Better, a local mare that we got a chance to watch compete here really, really fast. And we saw, obviously Scott McEnany debut another one. First foal out of Sly Eleanor, another hard-knocking fast mare. So maybe this is one Better Dog that can put forth another good showing here in the morning. But you mentioned Downtown Boogie, obviously a full brother to Till the Cows Come Home, who was a local standout here provincially, especially racing at 2. Just chasing the likes of Bojangles all season long. He was so under the radar all of last season, but he had some stakes victories under his belt last season long. And I'm expecting, I know we didn't see him in the NA Cup eliminations, but I'm expecting him to put forth some pretty good showings as his 3-year-old season progresses.
Yeah, he's been a top colt, I think 400,000 plus on his card now. And like you said, doing it when having to chase a superstar like Bojangles. So that is your field of 8 here to wrap things up. It has been a really entertaining morning of qualifying action. I'm sure, Mark McKelvey, you've enjoyed calling the action today. We'll head back up to you now.
Always fun to get a look at these youngsters, and as you guys have talked about, for the most part, it's been all debuts. Several that were here last week, including the 1 and the 2 here in this final qualifier. So here's the field. 1 is Rockin' Jade Deo, Captain Treacherous filly. Luke Blay trains. Bob McClure is sitting behind this one. And Rockin' Jade Dale, a Lexian Select buy for $240,000 US. 2, Beachside Caroline. She's a daughter of Poppy Rob Hanover. Lexington Select purchase for $95,000 US. Luke Blade trains. Tyler Jones is in the bike. 3 is Cupcakes on Tuesday, a Cattle Wash filly, trained by Greg McNair. Make the driver, Doug McNair. Or I said make the driver, Jonathan Drury. Doug McNair was listed. Lexington Select purchase for $25,000 US. 4, Waves of Fortune is a Better's Delight filly trained by Tony Beaton. James McDonald drives. Waves of Fortune was a Harrisburg purchase for $17,000 US. 5 is Twin Bee Copacabana, a Cattle Wash filly trained by Tony Beaton with Mark McDonald doing the driving. And this Cattle Wash filly came out of the London Classic for $90,000. 6, I'm Sweet on Lou, a Sweet Lou filly for Kyle Fellows. Doug McNair in the bike. This was a yearling purchase from Lexington for $26,000 US. 7 is Better Dog, a Bulldog Hanover filly, trained by Scott McEnany with Trevor Henry doing the driving. Better Dog came out of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale for $40,000 US. And 8 is Downtown Boogie, a Cattle Wash filly for Dr. Ian Moore, driver Louis-Philippe Waugh. Lexington Select purchase for $150,000 US. So there you have it, a field of 8 2-year-old pacing fillies to cap off today's action. Starting gate swings into the stretch. They're off and pacing. Wrapping up today's qualifiers with the 12th, and going out to the lead will be I'm Sweet on Lou. Twin Bee Copacabana also is going to step ahead. Cupcakes on Tuesday will get ahead of the next door neighbor Beachside Caroline. From the outside to land mid-pack will be Downtown Boogie. In front of the rail starter Rockin' Jade Deo. Then back to Waves of Fortune, and the last one will be Better Dog. They get into single file order, and I'm Sweet on Lou. She's a daughter of Sweet Lou, and she'll lead us past the opening quarter in 31-1. I'm Sweet on Lou by 2 lengths. Second is Twin Bee Copacabana. Then in third is Cupcakes on Tuesday, while fourth is Beachside Caroline. A few lengths going back to Downtown Boogie in fifth. Another couple lengths back to Rockin' Jade Deo. She's being tracked closely. Breathing down her back is going to be Waves of Fortune, and closing the gap at the back of the pack is Better Dog. Loose up front, though, I'm Sweet on Lou by 3. I'm Sweet on Lou. First time out here for the Fellows trainee, and Doug McNair has her showing the way up to the half in a time of of 101-1. So the second quarter was 30 seconds even. And as the pacing fillies get into that far bend, Twin B Copacabana tries to trim the deficit a little bit. She's 2 lengths away second. Cupcakes on Tuesday follows along in third to Beachside Caroline fourth. Starting to backpedal a little bit is Downtown Boogie. So getting around that one will be Waves of Fortune. Taken wide was Rockin' Jade Dale. And then splitting on through will be Better Dog. Up front, I'm Sweet on Lou. Nothing's changed here. She's to 3/4 in 129-4. So she stepped it up with a 28 3/3 split. I'm Sweet on Lou will look to close it out here. She leads it by 3. Second is Twin B Copacabana. Following behind is Cupcakes on Tuesday. Beachside Caroline stays in that single file with Waves of Fortune behind that one. And then back to Better Dog. But almost home, I'm Sweet on Lou. I'm Sweet on Lou and McNair. The daughter of Sweet Lou takes our final qualifier today by 2.5 lengths. Second was Twin B Copacabana. Third was Cupcakes on Tuesday. And up the inside fourth was Waves of Fortune. Mile time 1:57-2 for I'm Sweet on Lou.
Well, we saved the fastest for last. 57-2 effort from I'm Sweet on Lou. Did absolutely nothing wrong in this appearance. Showed good gate speed, manageability in the middle half of the race, and plenty of speed on the end of it.
Yeah, it didn't show. I mean, if there was greenness, I couldn't notice it from my vantage point. I mean, this was a filly that was pacing hard all throughout the stretch and through the wire against $26,000 yearling purchase, and one that put forth a really, really good showing here. Whip up, tight line to Doug McNair, and a filly that just loves to do her job and looks pretty fast.
This one, relatively reasonable yearling price. I think about $25,000 yearling, purchased out of the U.S. sales. And Sweet Lou, one of the prolific pacing stallions in North America in recent years. And this one starts her career off on a really positive note here this morning. The others were not able to really push her or to get up and take a shot at her, but I'm sure the connections were fine with that. Twin B Copacabana, good following second place finish. She'll get some good experience there. See, she just put in a little bit of a misstep we could see on the slow-mo, and probably just, trying to maybe hit another gear, and where Mark was trying to keep her, I think just pacing strong through the wire. Cupcakes on Tuesday, they'd be very happy, I think, with that effort.
Yeah, I would have to say a nice effort by her. And, sometimes, Greg, we see some horses even after the wire. I mean, we want to see them kind of pace a little bit faster at times. I think sometimes drivers will let them rattle just a little bit just to see what they have. And we did see a few pacers put in some steps afterwards as they asked them to accelerate just a little bit. But I thought Waves of Fortune, a sneaky good effort up the inside. For James McDonald and Tony Beaton, I thought.
You're right, and that's the benefit of having the good, tight, close-up shot after the finish. You see the run-out, and that's where you can learn a lot, too. And we had the camera up nice and close on her, and she was pacing up a storm. So, absolutely, that's a sneaky good fourth-place finish, if you want to call it that. 57-2. Again, quickest of the morning session here, so a nice way to wrap things up. And our coverage, again, will continue tomorrow. We'll have the Pacing Boys in action. 11 races coming your way tomorrow. Pacing and Trotting Boys, I should say. So time for one more break. We'll be back to wrap things up in just a moment.
The award-winning Terra Hill Stud is home to the All-Stars, including Cattle Watch, sire of the undefeated U.S. and Canadian Horse of the Year, Bojangles. Green Manalishi, the leading OSS stallion of 2- and 3-year-olds in 2025. Terra Hills is also home to Dan Patch Award winner King of the North, who is set to unleash his first crop in 2026. And of course, the perennial leading sire, Muscle Mass, whose sons and daughters have now earned over $90 million. This stacked roster is only getting deeper as Terra Hills welcomes for 2026 the Iron Horse of Buckabent Hanover and the champion son of Chapter 7, Killmister. This is Terra Hills Stud, home of the All-Stars. For more, visit terrahills.com.
Canada's premier yearling auction, the London Classic Yearling Sale, returns this October. Hundreds of yearlings from Canada's top breeders and major buyers, all under one roof at the JR Expo Centre. And American buyers, remember, your dollar goes further here. From the world-renowned Ontario Sire Stakes program to the Grand Circuit, London Classic graduates compete at the sport's highest level. You can't afford to miss the London Classic Yearling Sale, October 13th and 14th. For more information, visit londonclassic.ca. qualifiers.ca.
We are getting set to put a bow on day number 1 of weekend 2 of the Rookie Showcase here from Woodbine Mohawk Park, trackside from Canada's showplace of harness racing. Greg Blanchard and John Rallis. Again, really interesting morning, John. I'm Sweet on Lou in the finale. Fastest of the morning session. In your mind, was she the most impressive?
You know what? She definitely was one of them, but I was just so impressed with that Twin B Kingsley just coming first over and, trotting up with conviction there. But we've seen some great individual performances, but I tell you what, I think we have to, the big winner on the card has to be guys like Trevor Henry, Scott McEnany, Brad Grant. They debuted a lot of horses, youngsters that, look like they could have high hopes, high promise, and have a big year. Look, I've gotten a chance to speak with Scott McEnany over the last several years, 3-4 years, about his 2-year-old crop. He's never spoke as highly about his current crop than he's been this year. So, I'm excited to see how they all pan out. I'm sure Scott and company are as well.
And again, we don't always have to focus on the winners. Just go back to a year ago. A colt named Bojangles was 3rd in his debut effort, and we know what he's gone on to do. And of course, he'll be competing this weekend in the Pepsi North America Cup as one of the expected favorites. As we bring in Mark McKelvey one more time. Great job today, Mark. And let's look ahead to Pepsi NA Cup night. Of course, the big showdown in the $1 million main event. But what else do fans need to know about what they can expect here on Saturday evening?
Yeah, guys, I mean, really, it is the biggest party of the summer here, not just in Campbellville, but maybe across the harness racing world, as it's going to be a huge night here coming up at Mohawk. And you can see some of the details in terms of when we'll be broadcasting. But for those that are coming out to the track, as you mentioned, Greg, doors are going to open at 5 o'clock. First race is 6:30. 2.5 million plus in purses are on the line. 13 races in total. I mean, it's an all-star lineup. You've got multiple Horse of the Year award winners. You've got the best drivers, the best trainers in the game, and I'm really looking forward to the main event coming up around 10:45 Eastern Time, race number 11, the Pepsi North America Cup. But for those coming out, a couple other things you might want to know. You'll have a chance to meet the drivers that are going to be competing in the North America Cup around 5:50, 6 o'clock. They'll be out at the winner's circle signing autographs. There is a baseball cap giveaway. There's also a select number of Bojangles t-shirts where if you make a donation, you can get a Bojangles t-shirt. And that's going to go to a special charity. So a lot going on, not to mention all the food, drinks, the live entertainment, everything you become accustomed to with North America Cup night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know you two down on the desk might have been sweating out there this morning. I was up in the AC, but it's going to be red hot here on Saturday night, the racing action. I'm really looking forward to it.
Exactly. We are too, Mark. Thank you again. And Mark will be calling the action again tomorrow. I believe he's going to be calling remotely. The guy, he can do it all. I think he's going to be off-site, I believe, at the OHL draft. Oh, wow. And is going to call qualifiers.
Double duty.
So
I mean, he's
double
a utility
duty.
Player. He can do it all.
He's in
Mark.
demand. The man in demand. Yes, we are looking forward to NA Cup weekend, as we said. Best, going to be the probably second or third or one of the best programs you'll see, not only in North America, in the world this year.
Yeah, and you know what? I think while we're very excited about our provincial program here, the Ontario Sire Stakes program, how about the opportunity for Indiana, right? With odds on Mr. Mamba, a standout in the Indiana Sire Stakes program. We've seen a lot of horses here that were well bred. We've seen some maybe with average breeding, but there's odds on Mr. Mamba, not the most well bred horse, but a horse with a lot of speed. So they can come from anywhere, they can come in any which way, and that's a horse with a lot of speed, as he exemplified in his Pepsi NA Cup elimination. So I know Indiana's going to be rooting for odds on Mr. Mamba. Us here in Canada will be rooting, for Bojangles among other horses, but I think that plenty of reason, a lot of people are going to be rooting for a lot of their starters for good reason. It's a very deep field.
Yeah. We expect Bojangles is going to be better this week, and he's going to have to be better because I'm sure the others are going to be better, including odds-on Mr. Mamba. He was drifting in the stretch of his elimination. We saw an equipment change. It looks like a bit of a tinkering went on with him. We saw some photos of him training yesterday. So if he's better, I mean, how good could this final ultimately be?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, he was drifting so wide, and you heard James talk about when they drift that wide, they don't always get there, and I think that's a testament to just how fast that he was pacing, and he just got up. I almost thought that maybe, Dexter Dunn and Brandon Boulevard, the Colt himself, might have lost track of odds-on Mr. Mamba. He was so good in a runner-up effort in his elimination. He's also kind of under the radar for as good of a career as he's had, but unfortunately draws post 10, but plenty to be excited about.
The other limb winner, of course, gets a good post for the final. He was very good, and he picks up the money man, Scott Zeron. Don't discount Sweet Love and Low. It is going to be a lot of fun. We are looking forward to bringing it to you, of course, here. Primetime Racing on Game Plus and our various social media platforms. And again, a reminder, we are back tomorrow morning at 9:30. We're on CBC Gem as well with Pepsi NA Cup coverage too. And then one more bonus day of coverage next Friday. We'll cover the final baby race session from here at Woodbine Mohawk Park as well. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you for everybody tuning in today. John Rallis and Mark McKelvey and myself and the folks from Cujo Entertainment. So long. We'll see you next time on Primetime TV.